What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 10SW Chapter 14. Lan Yu opens the New World channel again, Daozu cuts the Buddha, Kaguya cuts Zeus. Advertisement, although, I plan to let you play later. Next game, can you go? Zeus came to a big tree and looked at the man in front of him. The man has long hair tied up, wearing sunglasses, a Buddha pendant on his ears, two sharp teeth on his lower jaw, wearing a vest and slippers on his feet. Buddha. Sakamuni. Sakamuni with a lollipop in his mouth, a little sloppy, said casually. It's only the second game today. I'll talk about it in a few days. No, 5 games have ended. Zeus's expression suppressed anger and unwillingness. Odin, Sol, Ares, Poseidon, Shiva, and Athena who was captured by the human Empress. The gods have completely lost all dignity, we can no longer lose. Sakamuni's movements stagnated and continued to recover indifferently. It is far from the arena, he really didn't know that the battlefield was so tragic. Seriously, I wanted to help humans, Sakamuni said without hesitation. The night before the meeting on the survival of mankind. The Valkyrie Hild came to him, although the Valkyrie can be transformed into a variety of artifacts suitable for humans. But the power is not strong, only with the assistance of Shakia's magical powers can it strengthen its power. The Valkyrie also implicitly expressed the human misery, although it is impossible for Sakamuni to be persuaded. But Sakamuni, after all, could not see the judgment of the gods on mankind, and he was ready to rebel against the gods. But who knows? Lan Yu came and everything changed. Mankind is no longer weak, on the contrary, the gods are facing a crisis of destruction, so that Sakamuni has not recovered for a long time. Is this doing something? It makes me unable to get up to Sakamuni? Now it doesn't matter whether he helps humans or not. If he rebels against the gods, it will only speed up the death of the gods. Is it a 5-game losing streak? Even if you and I win 2 games, who do you want to win the remaining 5 games? The concept of Sakamuni is very simple. Everything is balanced. Whether or not the gods and human beings are destroyed or not, they should not be interfered by human beings. When the gods destroy mankind, Sakamuni will fight against the gods. Sakamuni would not agree to the destruction of the gods by mankind. If the balance is messed up, everything will be messed up. Zeus pondered. Apollo, Hades, Susao, Loki, and Destiny. First of all, make sure that you and I must win. So, how do you say? Zeus looked at one of the 4 saints. Learn. Sakamuni smiled and embraced the skinny Zeus with an open hand. So, have a good time? Zeus was speechless. Sakamuni always looks like he doesn't care about anything. It made him feel very bottomless. Because of Wu Zetian, Bai Qi, Li Kunxiao, Zhang Sanfeng, Athena, Ares, Shiva, Poseidon. The human side was completely at ease. After all, they have won 5 games in a row. On the side of the gods, I can see that many positions are vacant. Some gods are really troubled, and some gods, scared away. The final battle plan between mankind and the gods, the 6th and 7th rounds will be held together. The representatives of the gods participating in the war are the ancestor of 10,000 Buddhas, Sakamuni. King of the gods, Zeus. With Heimler's cry, the gods finally cheered up and ignited hope. Master Sakamuni, Master Zeus. You must win. The representatives of the human side participating in the war are White Zetsu looked at the list and was a little different, then shouted. The ancestor of Taoism, Laozi. Marshal of the Imperial Air Force, Otsutsuki Kaguya. Wow. 2 human representatives. The Shakyamuni who was about to appear was stunned. Laozi. Li Er. It turned out to be him. For the ancestor of Taoism, who was born only a few years earlier, and people of the same era, Sa Jiaqing couldn't help laughing with a lollipop. Such an opponent is really exciting. Taoism and Buddhism are competing. Sakamuni suddenly felt less boring. Zeus frowned. The Holy Empire has finally sent a high-level man to the stage. Tsunade, the little girl who fisted him before, is one of the generals of the Imperial Air Force, then the air marshal must be stronger. Block everything, I will never lose. Zeus's position as a god is clear. He must win to be the god. If he keeps losing, he will have no face to call him god. Swipe it. Both parties enter at the same time. Kaguya put on a blue military uniform, imposingly, but smiled happily. This old man, the concubine is super strong, so be careful. Unexpectedly, polite. Zeus said differently, but the corners of the Empire's eyes twitched. Kushina muttered, Sister Kaguya finally met many creatures older than her. Makoto nodded. When I came to this world, Kaguya's smile never stopped. Tsunade smiled, because the gods here are older than her? Hyuga Hinata said seriously, the teacher will always be 18 years old. The other party. Sakamuni the lousy. You can't keep up with the times. Looking at the old white-bearded man who was wearing a simple dress and half sitting on a green bull reading a book, Sakamuni murmured. Look at how fashionable my Sakamuni is. Man follows the earth follows the sky, the heaven follows the Tao, and the Tao follows the natural. Lousy Li Er's voice is full of Taoist rhyme. Unexpectedly, thousands of years have passed, Taoism is still there. What Shakia was about to say. Another burst of words came from the audience. Dragon, I don't know why. The dragon rides the wind and the clouds for 9 days. What I have seen is lousy, is it like a dragon? Lousy looked at it suddenly, and couldn't help being surprised. Confucius? Yes, it's me. Before you fight, I started to boil over. Confucius has a young face and his expression is a bit exaggerated. Next to him is Jesus on the left and Socrates on the right. Lan Yu. These people and gods have nothing to do with him. Sakamuni, Confucius, Jesus, and Socrates are the 4 great saints in this world. Closing the book indifferently, Lousy sat on the green bull and looked at Sakamuni. The gods open a meeting of the survival of mankind every millennium. I don't know how many human beings have been actively destroyed and continue to interfere in human development. You were also a human, how? Advertisement at this moment, the Buddhist disciples stared at the Buddha together. Staring at this stylishly dressed Buddha, who looks very inconspicuous. Ha, what annoying. Sakamuni took a lollipop, took out his ears, and lazily said, what kind of enemy partners, good people, evil people, gods and humans, it has nothing to do with these. During the words, Sakamuni was hitting the Buddha stick with his right hand, and the thumb of his left hand pointed at himself. His tone was extremely haughty. This universe is only one pillar of Sakamuni. Heaven is in the sky, I am the only one. Wow. One stone stirred up tens of thousands of waves. There is irony on the human side. Many gods are equally angry. The Buddhist disciples suddenly bowed their heads. Lord Buddha, would this be too arrogant? The old man understands. Lousy Li didn't say much. Then fight. Kaguya smiled and said, Master, my concubine is about to make a move. Zeus felt it now. The deep malice in the smile. In an instant, Zeus's skinny body swelled rapidly, and in a blink of an eye he became a muscular old man several meters high. Fist beyond time. Zeus directly exploded with all his strength. This trick was learned from his father who hated him and respected him who was killed. At the moment of the outbreak, all the time in the surrounding area is controlled, and the opponent is attacked in a nearly static manner. Almost no god can escape. The Imperial Palace of Heaven. Expand truth-seeking ball. In an instant, when Zeus made a fist, Kaguya directly transferred it to a different space. And threw an inflated truth-seeking ball without stagnation. Kaguya turned around and left. 0. Look for flowers. The feeling of swelling that turned everything into nothingness. The truth-seeking ball broke out, and the entire alien space crashed and collapsed. Why does Kaguya like to throw bombs so much? Perceiving that there is continuous space shattering in the gap between time and space, Lan Yu also saw Kaguya standing on the high platform, shouting with an open hand. Zeus is dead. The concubine has won. Cheer, human. What? Zeus is dead. Only then did Loki and others saw that Zeus was gone on the battlefield, and Sakamuni's movements were also stagnant. Facing, old man, don't be distracted. Lousy Li slapped him lightly. Sakamuni also avoided lightly. Li Weiwei was surprised. Isn't it a coincidence? You avoided it in advance? You saw the old man's move. No, you saw the future. Sakamuni's eyes were in the shape of a lotus flower. Don't take a mouthful of an old man, no matter how you count it, you are at most a few years older than me. Future vision. See the future in a few seconds. What the Buddha realized. Enlightenment, Alaya consciousness. Suddenly, Sakamuni stopped and looked at Lousy helplessly. Too bad. See the future again? Li Kai felt that Sakamuni's moves were ridiculous, and he was seen through before he even started. Tao begets 1, 1 is 2, 2 begets 3, 3 begets everything. 0 in Li words, Sakamuni became solemn for the first time. Daoyin is nameless, the world is pale, in an instant. Sakamuni felt that everything had become black and white, and everything around him became infinitely slow. Almost static. At the same time, Li's figure disappeared completely, and Dao was invisible. All things are stagnated, attacks are hidden, and it is impossible to guard against. Sakamuni also feels that his actions are extremely difficult. But it can be dealt with. 6 paths reincarnation. 6 paths route, 4 ways. Sura Dao, 12-faced Guanyin. 7 difficulties is destroying the shield. On the Buddha stick in Shakia's hand, layers of scripture appeared to entangle him. Huge Sanskrit shields appeared on all sides, so you can only attack from above. Sakamuni looked up, waiting for something. Ground. No, from the gap in the middle of the shield, dense water droplets appeared, and each droplet was extremely heavy and sharp. Failed 3 more times. Only the last Sakamuni battle is left, and Lan Yu has arranged the Imperial Army to rush to all parts of the heaven. Lan Yu still talks about credit, and the 7 defeats of the gods will open the real dusk of the gods. Just wait for Sakamuni's defeat, ready to do it at any time. And Lan Yu, at this moment, is trying to open the second New World channel with the help of the treasure dimension Jade. Buzz. The world coordinates are bright. A space portal appeared on the Imperial Tower, and Conan looked over at once. Very familiar portal. The Imperial Army came to heaven from the portal. But the texture on this portal is different. Your Majesty, is this? New World Channel. As Lan Yu said, Kaguya also came back, blinking very curiously, and wanted to go in and take a look. After all these days, Kaguya turned the heavens several times. Discovery is not as attractive as the things on Earth. You send an avatar there, it's best to come back within 3 days. Lan Yu also has to prevent accidents in the heavens. The Imperial Army is preparing to fight in the heavens. When Kaguya comes back, he will not be too late to know what world he is. The most precious dimension jade, the endless mighty power above requires Lan Yu's constant perception. Kaguya's crimson eyes were sparkling. A clone was separated and jumped directly in. Kaguya's clone was extremely excited. New world. Concubine body is here. Chapter 1. Kaguya, Little Robin, the concubine is the real monster. Advertisement, want my treasure? If you want, I can give it to you, go find it, I put everything there. See Circle Calendar, 1498. Known by the world as Roger the Pirate King, a sentence before his execution. Opened the prelude to the era of the great pirates. In just 2 years, pirates surge. Every day, people all over the world go to sea as pirates, clamoring to become the new Pirate King. The new generation of countless teenagers and girls have been ignited by the 3 characters of One Piece, and they have targeted One Piece one after another. Maybe for freedom, maybe it's ambition, the world is completely messed up. Civilians everywhere are miserable, and this is just the beginning. The new generation is waiting to grow up and to go to sea. The whole world. The melody of the pirate is turned on. West blue, sky above, a space opened, Uzumaki walked out of a beautiful woman with red eyes, took a deep breath and stretched her waist. Hey, the air in the new world is really good. During the words, the woman's Chong nose wrinkled slightly and her eyes lit up. This is the breath of books? Such a strong book fragrance, even the Imperial Library can't match it. It really makes my concubine happy. The woman looked into the distance, smiled, and flew over with the fragrance of books. Investigate world intelligence. What's faster than reading? 110. After being forced by her teacher to read 220,000 books in thousands of years, she has long formed a habit. Reading, concubine's second love. First, of course it is the teacher. Inside, 10 miles. Bailey, the woman spanned hundreds of miles. Just to explore the increasingly strong book fragrance. Lan Yu. This disciple, I am convinced. Ohara, the most famous archaeological shrine in West Blue. Here is the library with the most scholars and the most books in the world, the Tree of Omniscience. Looking down from the sky, the whole Ohara, covered more than half by the Tree of All-Knowing. There are precious texts from all over the world stored in that huge bean-like tree. On Ohara Island, there are a group of persevering and knowledgeable scholars who secretly conduct research on historical texts and explore the truth about 100 years of blankness erased by the world government. World government. Looking for death, 5 elders, kill them all. No one in power likes to be shorted by others and expose their dark history. What if it is really exposed? Except for careerists, who cares? In any world, the fist is the last word. If you don't have the strength to talk nonsense, you just give away your head. Kill her, kill this monster, stinky monster. My kid said he was beaten by you without doing anything. Say, you are a really annoying kid. We went out to dinner, there is still bread at home, so you can eat whatever you like. I want you to swear to the Tree of Omniscience, if you approach the basement to interpret history, I will forbid you to enter and leave the library. The words of the children on the island, the words of the elders of the children, the words of the male uncle's family, and the words of Dr. Kloba all echoed in the mind of an 8-year-old girl. Let this little girl who had just become an archaeologist with a perfect score fell into confusion. Especially, when I was 2 years old, my mother went to sea. Years have passed, she grew up hard under the fence, and tried to face it with a smile. But now I can't laugh anymore. Malnourished since childhood, the little girl, who was much thinner than her peers, walked across the street with her head down, and came to the coast alone. Perceiving something, the little girl raised her head, her blue-black pupils were full of surprise. On the beach ahead of the coast, a huge red-haired giant of about 20 meters seems to have encountered a shipwreck. Wow, the little girl was not afraid, her eyes were full of curiosity, she ran over to take a closer look, and let out a slight exclamation. Wow. The giant woke up very quickly and raised her hands to make a cruel look. The little girl took a few steps back, still looking at him curiously. Is this little girl afraid of me? Giant Jaguar D. Saul, Marine Vice Admiral. Following his own justice and escorting the historian back to his hometown, he was chased by Marine and left in Ohara. Water, water, water. Hearing Saul's words, the little girl tilted her head slightly and thought. The sea water cannot be drunk and cannot quench her thirst. So he took him to a freshwater lake on the island. Well, it's a pleasure to take my life back, I don't know what happened to that woman. Saul lay down and was a little worried about the female scholar. She turned her head slightly and thanked him, thank you for saving me. There are still towns on this island. The little girl just nodded. For her, giants only exist in books. No matter how horrible they are not as terrible as the children on the island, she is not afraid. Did you see a giant for the first time? Seeing the little girl staring at him without blinking, Saul said gently. First, don't confuse me with the savages of Elbaf. Giants are also gentle. With that said, Saul felt that the little girl was a bit familiar, but couldn't remember it for a moment. I know that some strong people are difficult, but I hope you don't mention me to anyone when you get home. Understood. The little girl is very calm. This made Saul a little depressed. The answer is so straightforward, I will definitely say it. I won't say it, the little girl said without blinking. Saul couldn't help holding his forehead. Don't comfort me, how can a child keep a secret? The little girl is very serious, because I am not interested in you. Advertisement Saul was dumbfounded for a moment, and then burst into laughter. Hey he, M-I-L-A he. Seeing the giant like this, The little girl curiously asked. Tracy, what does that mean? What's the point? I'm just smiling. Hey Lei, you are such a funny little guy. Saul's tears burst out laughing. Are you laughing? The little girl was shocked, and couldn't help laughing. What a weird laugh. Saul Byron turned his head. You are cute when you smile, you should smile more. Hey, cute? The little girl couldn't help lowering her head. She was treated as a monster on the island? Saul continued. My name is Jaguar D. Saul, what is your name? D? The little girl was puzzled, and said, my name is Robin. Also at this time, suddenly a female voice of joy rang out. Finally reached. This island is full of the fragrance of books, and my concubine is so happy. Saul's expression suddenly became serious, as if he was approaching an enemy. He is Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. Since waking up, I have been driving on seeing and hearing, just to avoid being discovered, but now. The opponent seemed to appear around instantly. Fly. No, she stood in the sky. Little Robin looked up and saw a scene that surprised her even more than seeing a giant. I saw the sky directly in front of her, standing a beautiful woman with light blue and white long hair, wearing a white dress with a pentagram badge, especially the crimson eyes are full of attraction and lethal force. Standing in the sky above the sky. So strong, Salo's pupils shrink when he looks back. 0. Standing in the sky can be understood as a special fruit ability. The moment Saul sees the other's crimson eyes, Saul feels his scalp numb. That is one kind. The great horror he had never felt before. It seems that the other party can kill himself in a flash, without any effort. The gap is unimaginable. What? Kaguya looked down and saw a little girl, and a red-haired giant with big eyes staring at the bell. What combination is this? 2. Interesting. This world is so strange, there is a tall human being like you. Suddenly, there was a sound in his ear again, and Sorrow was careless, and the sky in front of him instantly lost his figure. What a terrible speed. Saul turned his head hard, and saw the woman standing next to Robin, looking at him curiously. So amazing. Little Robin gasped for the first time. She kept looking at the sky, and the next moment this beautiful big sister came to her. The surprised little Robin subconsciously activated the fruit ability, and several hands came out of her. Looking at the many little hands on Robin, Kaguya's ruby eyes are bright. You are so funny, is it a special race? Saul was very calm, nothing more than fruit power. But he looked at Kaguya weirdly, is it an illusion? This woman seems out of place in the world. Obviously very strong, but don't know devil fruit? Little Robin was the most surprised. Aren't you afraid? Why should I be afraid of my concubine? Kaguya was puzzled. Still in the sluggish, little Robin raised her hand and grabbed her hand, squeezing it to and fro. It's so soft, they are all real hands. She really isn't afraid of me. Little Robin was overjoyed, and then sadly said, because of this, everyone on the island treats me like a monster. Saul immediately comforted. That was their misunderstanding. This is just devil fruit's ability. Have you ever eaten unpalatable fruits? Little Robin didn't answer. If it's not too hungry, how could she eat that weird fruit? Even if it is poisoned to death, it's better than starving to death. Devil fruit? It's a special ability, right? Kaguya smiled and raised his hand slightly. When it comes to monsters, only the strong ones are counted, just like the concubine body. 5. The next moment, under the shocking eyes of Saul and Robin, Kaguya's blush eyes flashed, and a bright golden light burst into his hand, which instantly turned into a golden lightsaber that penetrated the sky and slashed into the sky at will. Golden Wheel reincarnation explodes. Boom. The sky was torn in a flash. A ravine that seemed to have no end appeared in the sky, and ripped apart the atmosphere, rushing out of the world. Salo was dull. Little Robin lost his voice completely. Now, West blew shocked, and hundreds of nautical miles away from Ohara. This is a world government ship, and everyone on it stared in shock. That's what is that? Just now a golden light flashed, and the entire sky was split apart. Jin Guang, is it Paluzalino Vice Admiral? Stop kidding, can you see the end of the crack in the sky? The secret spy agency directly under the world government, all CP9 members were silent. CP9 Chief Spandane, frightened and shivered, excuse me. Now return to Eni's lobby, is it too late? Boy thief, bless my dad. Spandam. Chapter 2, Shanks Mahawk, Buster Call bombing Ohara. Advertisement, sir, what should we do? The CP9 members on the ship looked at Spandane one after another. That terrifying golden beam was obviously artificially emitted, and it came from the direction of their target. It is clear, there is a very powerful presence there. If you rush closer, you may suffer. After all, they are CP9, not the CP0 of Celestial Dragon's strongest shield. What to do? What do you guys say? Spanda was aggressive, but everyone in the room knew that he was greedy for life and fear of death, and his character was despicable. We are already masters. The criminal evidence of those damned scholars is just a situation today. Under the solemn gaze of the CP9 members, Spandane took out a golden phone worm, which was brought from Sengoku. It doesn't matter, Ohara, Opal, why should Lousy be sent to a bad place like West Blue? Really, what a bad job. Go to death all. Spandane wanted to press the golden phone number directly. Sailing to Ohara. What? Hearing that Spandane also decided to go to Ohara, the CP9 members couldn't help but look at him with admiration. Less long-winded, hurry over. When Spandane said this, his voice was shaking. He can't help but go. He needs to find more practical evidence there and report it to 5 elders. Don't prove yourself. You can't get promoted. A small island in West Blue. A red-haired boy with a straw hat looked at the rift that had torn the entire sky and hadn't recovered for a long time. That golden light is a sword, right? Who is shooting? That range is even more exaggerated than the golden lions I've seen. Think of golden lions once a sword. The red-haired boy has been longing for it so far. Waves split hundreds of kilometers of the sea with a single sword, showing the horror of the big pirates. And the golden light just now. The red-haired boy can't see the end at all. I really want to see who it is, but it's too far away. Maybe everyone has left in the past. Shanks, 17 years old this year. It was one of the 4 emperors 6 years ago at the First World Summit after the Top War. After Roger was executed, he returned to his hometown of West Blue for 2 years of training. Now he is 17 years old and is about to go back to the captain's hometown, East Blue, to find a partner and set sail. Available today. Be entangled by an eagle-eyed fellow. That's not pure swordsmanship. The young man with eyes like eagles, wearing a flowered shirt and walking over with a long knife, said affirmatively, it's caused by a certain special ability. Young Shanks shrugged. It's all the same. The world still depends on strength. In short, the opponent is very strong. The Hawkeye man did not refute. Dracul Mihawk, 21 years old this year. Now the swordsman who is challenging West Blue, meets Shanks by chance. He has already started. March towards the small goal. Desire to win the title of the world's largest swordsman. I'm going to see. First go to the captain's hometown, maybe I can find an excellent crew member. Shanks said, looking at the Jianhao lunatic he met today, and grinned. Hey, Mihawk, do you want to join me and turn the world upside down? Come on, Mihawk. Be my deputy captain, enough playing, I want to go back to sleep. Mihawk didn't even look at Shanks, turned around and left. Play, enough. This left Shanks in a daze and then roared. You be *************, D. You cut me several times, and you said you were playing? I did it with you? Very good, let's keep fighting, boom boom boom. The 2 young men continued to fight. Enter Ohara. Saul and little Robin suffered a huge shock in their hearts. That kind of horrible blow. It turned out that this woman randomly sent it out with her bare hands? Saw. Let's see it. Kaguya patted his hand lightly, rubbed Robin's head, and chuckled softly. The concubine body is the monster. It's still a long way away. Little Robin murmured, are the people outside the island so scary? Saul has a black line. Thinking too much, little Robin. If the outside world were as terrifying as this woman, then he would have died 800 times earlier. By the way, my concubine has to read a book. After sniffing the fragrance of books on the island, Kaguya was satisfied and waved to the 2 of them. Big red hair, little cute. The concubine is gone. Brush. Kaguya disappeared. It was an accident to meet 2 people. How important is reading? Da Hongmao, such a strong man, is really surprisingly gentle. Salo was full of emotion, and suddenly reminded him of the vice-admiral friend who was lazy and loved to sleep. Reading? Little Robin regained his consciousness, thinking that before Kaguya left, he could read a book. Such a powerful beautiful sister. Do you like reading as much as I do? Saul, I will see you tomorrow. Don't be so troublesome, don't say my hand out. Don't worry, I'm not interested in you. Hey lay. Little Robin laughed at Saul and gradually disappeared. She is going to find the beautiful sister who loves to read and introduce her some good books. The result disappointed her. She went to the library and went around the town again. Kaguya was not found. That little cutie is looking for a shelter? Above the clouds in the sky, Kaguya sat cross-legged and looked at a pile of books from the Tree of All-Knowing. I noticed little Robin's intentions and didn't care. After all, it was just a little girl who met by chance. So many novel books. The concubine will take 3 days to relieve the pain. Lan Yu. Intelligence ring, investigate world intelligence. Kaguya. Is there any reason to prevent a concubine from reading? The next 2 days, little Robin still didn't find Kaguya. But they became good friends with Saul. What? Advertisement. Your mother's name is Nicole Orovia? The 2 chatted, and after 100 years of blank talk, the words Robin told of the mother thieves made Saul's eyes wide open. Orovia, Orbija, isn't it the female archaeologist he helped escape? Could it be that this island is? Saul felt that he was going crazy, and quickly said, it's too late to explain, the marine warship is rushing here to wipe out all the scholars of Ohara. You must never tell others that you are a scholar. Destroy? Little Robin stood up immediately, not daring to say, it's a lie, you lie? Salo sweated anxiously. I didn't lie to you, now you go to town to see if there is anything unusual, maybe your mother has already come back. Mother? Little Robin was startled. Turn around and step on the calf and run. I hope you won't have any trouble. Saul grabbed his hair and sighed constantly, Marine, what is justice? Inside the library. As Saul thought. Orovia, who returned to the island all the way to the island, went directly to the Tree of All Knowledge and told Dr. Kloba and others about the huge crisis. What makes Orovia desperate and understandable is that Dr. Kloba and other scholars, none of them were willing to escape, and they all chose to live with the Tree of All Knowing. At this time, a person hurriedly came. It's not good, a ship with the flag of the world government is here. Everyone looked serious. Great trouble, here comes. At the same time, on the coast, Spandane breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that the strong man is not on this island, wrong. It should be that no one dared to do right with our world government, I was scared away, ha 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 ha. Spandane became more and more arrogant as he spoke, and waved. Go and control all the scholars on the island. By the way, report to the headquarters that we are here. Yes, sir, West Blue. Somewhere in the sea, on a marine battleship. Report Kuzan Vice Admiral. There's news from the CP9 chief that they have arrived in Ohara. A Marine Rear Admiral reported. What? A tall man with black curly hair and sunglasses took down the shading book on his face and frowned. Does this little matter woke me up? Yes. I'm sorry. Marine Rear Admiral was taken aback. Today's Kuzan Vice Admiral is in a bad mood. Kuzan is very impetuous today. His friend betrayed Marine, and after a while, he will immediately slaughter a famous island. I don't know how many innocent people will be killed. In particular, there is also Vice Admiral, who is cruel and merciless, acting together this time. Kuzan can't guarantee what terrible thing that one will do. Today is really bad enough. Kuzan lifted his forehead and lay down. I feel the sun today is particularly dazzling, Suddenly, Kuzan sat up straight, staring at the sky far away. Is it an illusion? Just now, there seems to be someone on the clouds? A white cloud happened to cover it and disappeared. Kuzan was a little surprised. Now Kuzan, it is difficult to perceive things in the sky far away with the color of sight and hearing. It should be an illusion, 120. I hope there will be no accidents today, so let's end it soon. A few hours later, enter Ohara. All the scholars were arrested and knelt on the ground. Little Robin stood aside worriedly, and the CP9 members didn't care, it was just a little girl. Okay, so terrible, actually started on a woman. Little Robin glanced at the white-haired woman who was seriously injured and bowed her head not far away. She hadn't recognized it yet. Her mother, who left home when she was 2, has a vague memory. Little Robin looked at the old man worriedly. Doctor, everyone will be killed, is this true? Hurry up, Robin, you shouldn't be here. Dr. Kloba also did not reveal the identity of the white-haired woman, and signaled little Robin to board the refuge ship. It's a pity that all scholars have to die. After the 5 elders ditched past, Spandane laughed. Then, it's time for the golden phone worm awarded by Admiral Sengoku. Spandane picked up the golden phone bug and pressed it down. Buster Call is launched, I'll beg you from now on. After speaking, Spandane took Orovia away. At this time, looking at the white-haired woman who stood up, Robin suddenly recognized it. Outside of Ohara, 10 warships have surrounded Ohara. Buster Call scale. 5 Vice Admiral plus 10 Rear Admiral plus nearly 10,000 Marine Elite plus 10 top battleships. A brutal and inhumane attack that burned everything. The Buster Call has started, the whole ship is in place. Ready to bombard. On various battleships. The 5 Vice Admiral looked at Ohara in various emotions. Kuzan, Sakazuki, Yushu, Staloberry, Huashaoshan. Boom boom boom. 10 warships immediately shelled towards Ohara. Dense shells. Attacking the huge tree of omniscience overwhelmingly. Also at this time, a very unhappy cold word echoed from the sky. You are so noisy. Under the astonishment of nearly 10,000 Marine elites, all the shells fired suffered unknown effects one after another. Stagnation in midair, then, fly back all the way back. Boom boom boom. Chapter 3, Kuzan, Sakazuki, and 10,000 Marines are all desperate. Advertisement. Who? Looking at the shells returned by unknown abilities, Sakazuki's right hand suddenly burst into white smoke and turned into a magma punch. Great eruption. The huge lava fist is like a volcanic eruption. After the explosion, it turns into countless volcanic bombs and blasts the incoming artillery shells. Puck. Kuzan on the other battleship shot dense ice balls with both hands and collided with artillery shells. Huashaoshan and other 3 Vice Admiral, Rear Admiral and Marine elites all counterattacked the shells. Boom boom boom. There was an explosion of the Buster Call battleship in 10 directions off Ohara Island. Yes, that woman. Saul, who rushed to find Robin, was stunned, thinking of the scary woman with scarlet eyes. Damn it, at this moment, Sakazuki looked very angry. Kuzan and the others also sank. 10 battleships surrounded Ohara and were far apart. They could not handle the rest of the shells. Now, remove the battleship where Vice Admiral is located. The rest of the warships were all bombed by some shells and many were damaged. Hello, what's the situation? Spandane, who evacuated Orovia on the island, was also taken aback. This is Buster Call. There are also 2 monsters above, Vice Admiral, who can reach the top of Admiral with only a few merits. There are still people who dare to attack. No, we are still on the island. Spanda is so angry, is the current Marine so ruthless, wait a while and attack again. Mom, are you a mother? Little Robin ran towards Orovia with tears. Seeing this scene, Saul immediately ran to help. Not on the island. Sakazuki and other Vice Admiral quickly saw Ohara with little perception of color. All are civilians in CP9. There are no anomalous people on the island at all. In the sky, Kuzan solemnly looked to the sky. The previous voice echoed from the sky, and it seemed that the glimpse when he came was not an illusion. There are really people on the clouds in the sky. Kaido, the escaped golden lion. A whole, no matter how you underestimate the justice of this world, you have to have a degree. Knowing that the opponent was sneaking in the sky, and still unable to come out, Sakazuki directly stepped on the moonwalk and rushed into the sky. No matter who the other party is, sanctions must be imposed. Got you. When he got close to the sky, Sakazuki's eyesight caught the breath, and his expression suddenly became sharp. Dark Hound. The limit of the lavaged right hand stretched out. Rushed to the sky very quickly. Here's my concubine, puppy. The sudden sound from behind made Sakazuki's pupils shrink at such a speed. He is quite sure. The other party was still in the sky last moment. Appeared behind you in the next moment, but wherever the opponent was, within Sakazuki's perception, he turned around and blasted past. You called the wrong place again, puppy. Damn it. No one turned around, and the opponent appeared behind him again in an instant, and Sakazuki's face turned black into charcoal. Did not see any movement trajectory. It seems to be arbitrary movement out of thin air. Go to hell. Sakazuki turned and attacked again. This time, the sound fell from the sky. Wrong again, Coyotito. The marine below stared blankly. What did they see? A beautiful lady in white clothes with ruby eyes stands in the sky, constantly moving rapidly. Every time Sakazuki Vice Admiral turned around, he disappeared and moved behind him again. Sakazuki was asked for a play by a woman? Yamo's startled eyes almost fell out. This scene is as incredible as a cat teasing a mouse and a man teasing a dog. Kuzan is very solemn. That kind of speed, no, it's not speed, it's a very special space system ability. She can move at will. Teleportation. What? The marine elites were shocked. Yes, it just appeared out of thin air, transferred out of thin air, without warning, without trace. Even if I can catch it by seeing, hearing and color, my body can't keep up with it, so I can only hit the air. Need to feel first, then turn around. But as soon as he turned around, the other party was gone. Prove that the opponent's reaction ability is also extremely fast. Kaguya combines Flying Thunder God and Hiro Izumi Hirazaka, teleporting freely within the range of perception he created. Being teased back and forth, Sakazuki was so suffocated at the moment and shouted. Enough. Huh? Isn't this going to work? In Sakazuki's gloomy eyes, a figure appeared out of nowhere, standing in the air. A woman I have never seen before. Those crimson eyes are extremely dangerous. But Sakazuki shot in the rage. Inu Guren. Sakazuki threw a punch. The lava fist turned into a huge dog's head, and opened his healing teeth and roared towards Kaguya. This move is too terrible. Watching a dog kill him, Kaguya was a little bit amused, his blush eyes flashed, and he raised his hand quite calmly. Shen Luo Tianzheng. Boom. The horrible repulsion broke out instantly. The lava giant dog was destroyed at the instant of destruction, and it blasted towards Sakazuki with a grand aftermath. Invisible majestic power. It slammed on him in all directions, directly collapsing him into lava fragments. Like a goddess scattered flowers, wine falls from the sky. Sakazuki Vice Admiral, the Marine Elite exclaimed. Ice Age. Watching Sakazuki's shards spill from the sky to the sea, Kuzan made a decisive move. Sensei's white gas melted into the sea. In an instant, starting with Kuzan, layers of the sea in front of him froze, directly enclosing all the seas around Ohara. Boom boom boom. Fragments of lava in the sky fell on the ice, exploding large sheets of ice. You go to the island first, I'll go over and take a look. After speaking, Kuzan rushed towards the lava, watching the sky vigilantly while running. What is the origin of this woman, if you read it right? It should be repulsion just now, but it has nothing to do with teleport, two fruit abilities? A magma, an ice, a bit like a hydration technique? Kaguya in the sky, thinking. The bodies of these two people can be transformed into elements, a bit similar to the hydration technique of the Ghost Lamp clan. That kind of technique, conventional physical attacks are ineffective. So funny. Advertisement. Kaguya looked down and his eyes lit up. The dog that was shattered by the repulsive force was beginning to condense on the ice, and in a blink of an eye it returned to its original appearance. It seems that there is no injury. Wait a minute, Sakazuki. Seeing that Sakazuki wanted to rush forward, Kuzan immediately stopped him. Can't hit it. Go up as a target. She doesn't know hockey? Sakazuki said coldly. How do you know? What if it doesn't work? Kuzan knew what he meant. If the opponent doesn't know hockey, you can always find a chance to counterattack even if you just rush. Damn it. Sakazuki's expression sank, looking at the sky fiercely. The ability to teleport can't be unrestricted, it must consume a lot of energy. My main attack, you assist and consume her. Sakazuki quickly figured out the countermeasures, fighting for physical strength. He still didn't believe that two people could not fight a little-known woman. Not for 1 day, then 10 days, must catch this woman. Right. Kaguya is at the top of the sky and agrees with this proposal. The concubine can only fight for a few months, and the unlimited chakra will also bottom out. Wrong. Kaguya refuted herself and smiled slightly. That was when it was 6 stars, now the concubine of 7 stars should be able to play for a year. You guys, do you want to try? Kuzan. Sakazuki. What a joke. This woman is talking nonsense. Fight for a year. Why don't you go to heaven? Kaguya. The concubine is in the sky. Do not impulse. Kuzan stopped the angry Sakazuki again, raised his head and said in a deep voice, Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you attacking Marine? Are you a kid? There are too many questions, Kaguya said. It fell from the sky to the ground in an instant, and it was more than 10 meters away from the two of them. Sure enough, it was teleportation. Sakazuki and Kuzan sank inwardly. This kind of arbitrary instant movement, seeing, hearing and color can hardly keep up with the speed, let alone the body's reaction speed. Kaguya looked at the two of them and said with interest, incarnate into magma and ice, immune to conventional physical attacks, but your life level is still just ordinary people. Do not know. How many days can you hold on without eating? What's the meaning? At this moment, Sakazuki and Kuzan noticed something bad, as if there was a crisis about to happen. Don't even think about it. The two suddenly retreated. Keep moving away. Run as hard as you can. 7-star concubine body, unless you run thousands of miles away in an instant. Otherwise, Kaguya looked lazy and looked at the two of them. It's all in vain. The Crimson Reincarnation Rinnegan's pupils moved forward. Heavenly Royal. Buzz. The mighty power of the space was washed out in a flash, passing Kuzan and Sakazuki in an instant. The two only feel. The surrounding scenes are changing rapidly. In just an instant, Kuzan and Sakazuki realized that they had disappeared in place. Came to a peace. It's cold and windy, ice and snow space. The two of them looked and perceived, they couldn't survey the end at all, it was like a world. What is this ability? Illusion, frozen world, or dazzled? Kuzan and Sakazuki couldn't help being shocked. Everything here is different from Ohara. They seem to have come to a new world in an instant. Boom. Sakazuki hit the ground with a punch. The large tracts of snow melted, and a pit was blasted out. This scene. Let the two of them sink to the bottom. Not an illusion. Swipe it. At the next moment, Kuzan and Sakazuki turned around quickly. I saw pieces of marine appearing out of thin air, obtained. Boom. Until the marine battleship smashed down here. All marines are lost. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? A kind of ultimate despair, washed in the hearts of all marines. Lan Yu. I have taken this wave. Finish. Kaguya smiled brightly after transferring all the marines and warships to the celestial imperial space. It's no longer in line with the concubine's temperament to fight and kill. Forget about starving to death. Kaguya didn't believe that tens of thousands of marines could come out. The Imperial Palace of Heaven is a different space. A month, 3 months, a year, there is no food in a different space, so we'll starve to death sooner or later. None of them should have spatial capabilities, even if there is space capability. It won't work without accurate spatial coordinates. If there is no coordinate, then when they break open the Heavenly Imperial Center, we'll face turbulence in space. Excuse my concubine to read, it's cheaper for you. Forgetting those marines, Kei Yoruichi turned around and went to the sky again. After reading these 10 books, go home. What a terrible woman. Seeing Kaguya raising his hand to silently destroy nearly 10,000 marine, Saul's head was startled and his skin tingled. CP. Spandane. What about marine people? What about the monster vice admiral? What about 10 top warships, Lord 5 elders? There are female ghosts here. Chapter 4. Sad Naval Headquarters, Paluzolino is coming. Advertisement, run. What are you doing in a daze? Take me away. After recovering, Spando was almost frightened to death, fell to the ground and shouted. Although he is a little stronger than Spandam, the son of Daily 9, he can be intimidated by Olivia's shot, and he is also a weak chicken. Exercise more in the future, sir. CP9 members are full of peasants, and they are ready to run when they hit Spandane. But a huge figure appeared in front. Leave it to me. Saul's body about 20 meters away, his fist banged down like a small house. Boom. Can be friends with Kuzan. Naval Headquarters Elite Vice Admiral. He is not a vegetarian. Although tall, he is not slower than CP9 at all. With one punch, the evading CP9 member and Spandane blasted into the pit. Puff cough cough, Spanda died on the spot. The seriously injured CP9 member got up and ran, but Saul was hit by the storm. In all warships, all were transferred to the Heavenly Imperial Court by Kaguya. Plus Shanghai was frozen by Kuzan. CP9 is not enough to escape by Moonwalk, there is nowhere to escape. Saul, that's amazing. Seeing the giant's power and seeing his mother, little Robin smiled. You can see the little Robin looks thin. Olivia blames herself very much. I'm sorry, Robin, I'm sorry. What is Mom talking about? Little Robin smiled sweetly, hugged his mother, and said seriously, it's great to see you again. Dr. Caballo and others met each other. What happened just now? All Marines are gone. After 1 hour, the battle was completely calm. There must be CP9 to pass the news. With some injuries on his body, Saul looked at everyone and said solemnly, in any case, you must leave here, otherwise no one can save you. Dr. Kloba immediately said, it wasn't just, you mean that, Lord? Thinking of Kaguya's horror, Saul still couldn't calm down, but his tone was very cold. Don't be naive. Why can she help you? You guys, do you deserve it? 123 A few words. The audience was silent. Dr. Caballo opened his mouth and didn't say a word for a long time. Yes, it's not a relative or a reason. Why help them? Just because they read a lot, can they interpret history? Or is it extravagant to ask that adult to show kindness? Don't be kidding, everyone is very realistic in this cruel world. At least it must reflect value. Otherwise it is a bunch of cumbersome. Saul. I don't quite understand it, but Saul's sudden indifference makes Lil Robin very uncomfortable. Robin. Olivia motioned Robin not to speak. She understands what the other party means. Don't put hope on others, only yourself can save yourself. Quickly. After experiencing a bitter lesson, Dr. Kloba also understood that there is no point in dying here. Immediately organize all scholars to move books on board. Doctor, the omniscient cannot be approached by trees. What? Hearing what the scholar said, Dr. Kloba rushed over and saw a circle of light surrounding the tree of omniscience. It's like an enchantment, it feels extremely hot when you get closer. The doctor threw a stone over. Chi-chi-chi-chi, under everyone's horror. That stone, after touching the barrier, directly melted by high temperature. Kaguya. Concubine's body, it's Concubine's body, let's go. Taking a deep look at the tree of all-knowing, the doctor thought of something and finally gave up. They couldn't take many books with them, just give it to that adult. Mom, I want to wait 2 days before leaving. Little Robin looked at Olivia intently, for fear that her wayward request would not be approved. $7. Olivia did not refuse, she didn't want to disappoint Robin anymore. However, you must have at least one reason, Olivia said again. Little Robin nodded, expecting. That beautiful sister saved us. I want to thank her face to face. I also know it's dangerous here and I know she may have already left. 2 days, I will wait 2 days, are you grateful? Olivia has no reason to refuse. Seeing this, Saul said solemnly, since you are all right, I have to go. Little Robin curiously asked, aren't you with us? No, my goal is too big, pay attention to safety, Little Robin, little Olivia, hee. Saul finished speaking, laughing, leaving Ohara without looking back. In the same way, Saul directly drove away the chattering Kloba and others. Breaking through the frozen sea all the way, also left a boat for Robin mother and daughter. As Saul thought, some CP9 pulled out the phone worm during the turmoil. The news reached Eni's lobby, then it spread to World Government and Naval Headquarters. Now, Naval Headquarters, UNC office, what did you say? Kuzan, Sakazuki, and nearly 10,000 Marines all died in battle? A-hole. Where's Spandane? Why didn't he die? The roaring man was a sturdy old man with white hair and a beard in the shape of a mountain. Marshal Marine, Kong Kong. At this moment, Kong Kong's face burst into blue veins, and he directly smashed the table, full of murderous intent. Buster Call is cruel though, but for the Buster Call combination with two monsters, Vice Admiral, it is extremely easy. Can result. Difficult to accept. Admiral Sengoku's eyes were red, and he said bitterly, no, there is no news about him, so he should be dead. Advertisement after Zephyr became instructor. In the whole Marine, he was the only one admiral to support the scene, and Garp did not want to be admiral. 2 admiral alternates. There are also 3 vice admiral, nearly 10,000 elites. It just died. Garp, who is usually hungry, and Paluzolino, who is cynical, were silent. They are equally unacceptable. Zephyr, a strong man with his hands still intact, was extremely heartbroken, and his voice was dry and said, the corpse, has the corpse been found? The elite who went to Buster Call this time. Many of them are his students, how can it not hurt? Although Crane felt uncomfortable, he was calm. The news from CP9 is only one sentence. A strong woman fell from the sky and easily smashed Sakazuki, Buster Call and the entire army, and the battleship disappeared. The whole journey took less than 2 minutes. Saul chased CP9 and asked for support. Not mentioned. The word death. For a moment, the audience was in a trance. Facing the confusion of the crowd, he said, smashing does not mean death. Sakazuki is Lobia. Disappearance does not mean death. It may be the transfer of special abilities to hide hallucinations and so on. At the same time, I don't believe that a strong woman can kill all of them in 2 minutes. Yes, everyone suddenly realized, don't say it's a person. Even Whitebeard, Roger, Golden Lion, 3 legendary pirates joined together. It is impossible to kill tens of thousands of Marines including Kuzan and others in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, just kidding. Suddenly there was a turnaround, Garp laughed. Let me just say, Kuzan and Sakazuki are not so weak, they scared the old man to death, ha 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 ha. Everyone has a black line, when did you say that? Kong Kong calmly said. Guessing is all guessing, and Kuzan and others have not heard from them so far, and it is fact that they cannot be contacted. Someone needs to come and investigate as soon as possible. Speaking of which, everyone looked at Paluzolino in unison. Kizaru was embarrassed, he knows, isn't he just a little faster? Man fast, is it wrong? Of course there is a mistake, a big mistake. An unknown strong woman, solving so many Marines in 2 minutes is really scary. Kizaru's brows squeezed together. This time he was not joking, but he understood the importance of the matter and got up immediately. I'm going now. A golden light, he rushed directly out of the window. Kong Kong made a fist at the moment. I will contact 5 elders, it is best to let the CP organization mobilize, and we must find out that woman. Unknown. Very scary, I thought that this Buster Call was over. He can enjoy his old age, or go one step further and hand Marshal Marine to Sengoku. After all, Sengoku was almost 60 years old, but suddenly there was a strong woman who didn't even know her name, which was very disturbing. Kaguya. It's a pity that the concubine forgot to give her name. Even if Kizaru rushed away, everyone is still sinking in their hearts. Marine headquarters is in the first half of the Grand Line, across the Com Belt on both sides, namely East Blue and South Blue. And West Blue. In the second half of the Grand Line, west of the Com Belt. The fastest is directly across the Red Line to reach Ohara, which takes at least 1 or 2 days. Notify West Blue Marine to let Marine near Ohara go over and investigate first. Kong Kong gave the order. It's dead or alive, it depends on God's will. West Blue Marine. Act now. This time, even Marine didn't know anything about it, so it was difficult to spread it out. Even if it spread out, few people believed it without evidence. Near the branch Marine, and the CP organization of West Blue operations. One after another came to Ohara. This frozen sea was made by Kuzan Vice Admiral. Look there, a passage was artificially broken. Ohara's people must have sailed away. Looking at the unfrozen sea, Marine was nervous. Kuzan Vice Admiral and others are really gone. The tree of all knowing is guarded by an aperture, and it must be made by the strong woman. This aperture is too strong to break. Wait for orders from superiors. The CP members exchanged after exploring. The tree of omniscience is not important. Finding talents such as Kufei is the key point, also on the second day. Members of Marine and CP couldn't bear it, always trying to break the barrier of the tree of omniscience. Those books are for concubine, concubine, concubine. The cold voice constantly echoed in the sky, Marine and CP members. In an instant, all disappeared, inside a tunnel in a room. Little Robin heard the voice and his eyes lit up. It's the beautiful sister, she's back. Shush, don't talk. Olivia is very cautious, who knows what's going on outside. Going out rashly may become a burden. These Marine and CP members are all minor roles in the West Blue part, and there is no Grand Master. So I didn't notice someone in the tunnel, mainly. The whole island is empty. As expected, they thought they had all escaped. After all, the buster call was out, so who would stay here? The library made of trees, my concubine likes it. Kaguya came to the tree of omniscience in an instant. Time to go back, but this tree must be taken away. When Kaguya circled the tree, when considering how to take it away completely, a strange voice came from a distance. Ah, it turned out to be such a pretty little girl. Is she sure she is a strong woman against the enemy buster call? But you are so terrible. A golden light flickered from the sky in the distance. In an instant, it was 300 meters away from Kaguya. Condense a human form. Black curly hair, yellow and white striped suit, hupai, wearing sunglasses, and Marine Justice fashion attire behind him. Marine Vice Admiral, Paluzolino, 300 meters away. He thinks it. Absolutely safe distance, just so confident. Chapter 5. The future 3 Admiral fainted, Xiao Ming laughed. Advertisement, what did you say? Looking at Paluzolino, Kaguya's eyes were sharp. This look. Standing at a safe distance of 300 meters away, Paluzolino narrowed his eyes and said, how terrible? No, the last sentence. Kaguya's expression changed, and she looked forward to it. Perusolino also felt weird, and tentatively said, are you not the strong woman of the enemy buster call? No, one more sentence. Kaguya's eyes were bright at this moment. Perusolino's expression turned weird, pretty little girl? Yes, these 3 words. Kaguya's eyes smiled into crescent moon. Which 3 words? Paluzolino was lost for a moment. Pretty. No, these are 2 words. Little girl? Paluzolino was in vain. What is there to be happy about? He is almost 40 years old. Call someone who looks more than 20 years old, no, 17 or 8 years old. Hey, how come you look younger and younger? In short, is it okay to call the other girl? Could it be, you're very old? After trying to understand something, Paluzolino stepped back hundreds of meters, marveling and saying, I think I understand, Kuzan, how they disappeared. A certain fruiting ability of the time system. You have developed to the awakening stage at least, keeping your appearance in a young state, and accelerating the flow of time to the limit. Fast for hundreds of years? Let Kuzan and others turn into dust? Speaking of this, after watching Ohara, Paluzolino's expression was extremely exaggerated. Oh, the Marine who came to explore has also disappeared, and there is such an incredible fruit ability. You are so terrible, this yellowish fellow. What is he making up for? Kaguya felt that the other party was not very smart. The ability of the time system. The concubine's body is currently only frozen in time, which was developed by digging out his own blood, and is a unique secret technique of the Otsutsuki clan. Peach style and Pooh style big moves. Concubine can't fall behind. No, it shouldn't be that scary, Perusolino murmured. But the body was very honest and stepped back hundreds of meters again, which was already 500 meters away. Summary of experience. There is nothing wrong with being careful. You can actually go 100 million points farther, and you are still under the control of your concubine. The opponent's actions are the same as a monkey, Kaguya thought. So Kaguya thought of the other 2. The moves in the red suit are all dog-like. The hair in a white suit looks like a chicken coop. Coupled with this monkey, Kaguya is a little confused. Puppy, chicken, monkey. What kind of marine? Do you open a zoo? If I can, I really want to be 100 million points away from you. Paluzolino shrugged slightly and said casually. If it's convenient, can you tell me what happened to Kuzan? Kaguya despised. Who is Kuzan? It seems you don't want to say. Kuzan is so famous, Paluzolino took it for granted that the other party didn't want to say it. That's nothing to talk about. By the way, before you starve to death, the concubine has something to say. Part of Kaguya's chakra erupted, and a storm was set off in place, and the voice was washed out. The name of my concubine, Otsutsuki Kaguya, starve? Kaguya? Paluzolino always feels something is wrong. But starved to death. make Paluzolino want to laugh a little. This little girl, no, this may be a very old woman. What a joke. This distance is very suitable. Paluzolino raised a finger. The photons condense into a brilliant golden color at the fingertips. Laser. A laser-like beam appeared, straddling Kaguya instantly across hundreds of meters. Small divine destruction? Looking at the opponent's attack method, Kaguya directly thought of the small divine destruction of the Imperial spiritual power system. They all lift their fingers. Laser is fired at your fingertips. Boom. In Paluzolino's surprised gaze, the laser shot across Kaguya and exploded behind her. Has the laser passed through her? No, not through it. This time Paluzolino's exaggerated expression is very real. It should be to avoid the radiation in an instant, and then return to the original position in an instant, creating an illusion of penetration. Your speed. It's terrible. Before Paluzolino's words fell, he disappeared and appeared above Kaguya like a teleport. Speed is power. Have you been kicked by the speed of light? Paluzolino's legs were photonized, directly facing Kaguya's head, and kicked out violently. Kick at the speed of light. Namikaze Minato's mantra. But there is some gap between your speed and his holy text teleport after all. Facing the oncoming horrible golden light, Kaguya raised his eyes slightly, and the pupils of his crimson eyes moved forward. At the moment before that foot is about to fall, Heavenly Royal. Launched instantly. Transfer instantly. Boom. With a roar, Paluzolino kicked the ground out of a terrible abyss. People, I actually avoided it. This woman is really not easy. Paluzolino frowned slightly, and immediately used his dazzling sight to perceive all directions. The breath of Kuzan. Wrong. Why are there so many people? Paluzolino suddenly turned around, the surprise in his eyes became more a bit, and he scratched his head subconsciously, full of dazed expression. Kuzan. Sakazuki. Tens of thousands of marine elites all watched Paluzolino kicking the air ahead. Silence is silent. The scene is extremely strange. Kuzan and Sakazuki wanted to say, "Here comes my brother, no, here comes my brother, let's have fun together." But the words came to the lips, can't say a word. Everyone looked at each other and looked in a trance. Marine's three big monsters, Vice Admiral, the next free Admiral, lived together. Ahem, for a long time, Paluzolino looked around and coughed slightly with an exaggerated expression. So many of you are looking at me, it's terrible. Fear, great horror, creepy, Paluzolino was really frightened at the moment. He was pleasantly surprised that the marine elite did not die, but he found that it was an icy and snowy land, and the endless mountains in the distance were covered by thick snow. Advertisement even if the treasury is fully committed. It is also difficult to freeze such a large area. What Paluzolino can't believe most is that every marine elite has a look of suffering, eyes full of despair, and their aura is weaker than the other. Even Kuzan was very sad. The steelman, Sakazuki, was full of 6 gods, hesitated and sad. All sitting, lying down, it seems to have given up treatment. Are you fake? Paluzolino leaned in front of Sakazuki, looked at him who was sitting, hesitated for a moment, and raised his hand. Sakazuki took a slap directly on the head, didn't hide? Broken, cool. An inexplicable sense of refreshment filled Paluzolino's heart, instantly addicted, and raised his hand again. Are you crazy? Sakazuki, whose eyes were lost, was beaten up and immediately raised her head in anger. I am real. Ahem, sorry. Paluzolino sneered. Sakazuki said coldly. We have used all the methods that can be used, so I don't want to leave here. Here, there is no food. Maybe, it can last a month or two, but it will starve to death in a few months. Hearing that, Paluzolino's face was bitter, and he was also a little confused. So she meant to starve to death, that's what she meant. What a cruel girl. Paluzolino's heart beat fiercely. Such a beautiful woman. Why is your heart so cruel? Kusho said in a daze, this is probably the cruelest death sentence. Maybe we can last an extra month or two. With that said, Kuzan looked at the dejected marine elites, unable to help bitterly. But after a few days, I can only watch them die one by one. They can only, in the bitter wind, waiting sadly for death. No matter what, you can't give up. Paluzolino, who had just arrived in the ice and snow space, did not feel desperate. Zero, look for flowers, decided to be a hero, save everyone out. Boom boom boom, so various frantic bombings took place in the ice and snow space. Marine elites, looked numbly, can't escape, outside world. After getting a little monkey, Kaguya circled Ohara again, thinking of a way to take away the tree of all-knowing intact. That is, the removal of the island with the tree. Kaguya came to the sky, raised his hand slightly, and the crimson reincarnation Rinnegan turned his pupils. Reincarnation. Gravity chain. Whoosh whoosh. Dense and invisible gravitational chains. It directly forms an impermeable gravitational net, covering the entire Ohara. Rumbling. When Kaguya raised his hand, Ohara's entire island drama, Yanzhong, was uprooted. Large shadows swayed over the sea. Gone. Kaguya pulled Ohara into the sky with gravity and pronounced 4 words, open sesame. Buzzing. A space Uzumaki appeared in the sky, and it became bigger and bigger, forming a vast space portal. And the other side of the space portal, skyline. On a continent. Lan Yu opened his eyes and murmured softly, it's been so long. Huh? The application portal is 10 times bigger. What did Kaguya's clone bring back? Lan Yu didn't think too much. Expand the space door rapidly. Next moment, an island with lush giant trees flew out of the portal and immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding Konan and Kaguya. Kaguya's eyes lit up and said, "This island has such a strong fragrance of books, and the concubine's clone is well done. Come back." Thinking so, Kaguya took back the clone directly. And in the avatar of Kaguya in Pirate World, he picked it up. There is still. Bang. Kaguya's clone disappeared. At the moment of taking back the clone, Kaguya's expression was slightly strange. The clone sent tens of thousands of people into the Imperial Palace? But the concubine took back the clone. What will happen then? Lan Yu calmly said, "After all, they're two different worlds, and your clone space is not connected to your heavenly Imperial court. The clone disappears, the space in the gap between time and space will either collapse, or fall back to the original space, or simply disappear." Kaguya nodded without paying attention, immediately talked about intelligence to Lan Yu. At the same time, Pirate World. Boom, part of West Blue's sky was shattered. A turbulent flow of space wandered in the sky, awakening countless people. It seems that there is a world that is constantly falling apart. The dense space cracks in the sky are constantly being repaired, repaired, and collapsed. Buzz. When the West Blue sky rift closes, then there were cracks in the South Blue part of the sky again. Jumped over East Blue again, finally, over North Blue. The impact is minimal, when a crack the size of a few people appears. Swish swish, as if finally found an opportunity. A mass of ice cubes, a mass of magma, a golden light. The three elements rushed out of it. It fell on an island in North Blue in an embarrassing manner. Smash a luxurious building directly, smashed into someone's room. All turned into a human form and passed out. The three of them were directly dizzy because of the destruction of the different space, and the shock of the terrifying space caused confusion, and almost collapsed every element. One looks around 20 years old. The man with a golden head, sunglasses and a feather coat was shocked. "What's happening here? Marine is here to catch me." "No, it's not right." Looking closely at the three people who died, the man panicked for an instant, and then laughed. "Do, pirates are evil? Marine is justice, only the winner is justice. If it is, now kill the three of you. The times will laugh to death." Do. Chapter 6, Little Robin. Ah, is the big brother on the throne a god? Advertisement, Marine, Pirate, Grand Line. After understanding Kaguya's basic information, Lan Yu knows what the world is, objectively speaking. An extremely deformed world. Many people and even the world master Kakuzu regard the pirates as a world of honor, and they are completely sick. A thief is a thief. No matter how beautiful it is still a thief. No production, nonsense. Put it in the Holy Empire, that is a scourge that everyone hates. In the name of freedom, tea poisons the new generation and is absolutely killed on the spot. The three words One Piece. It's like a drug. It is the virus in the virus, which has infected people from generation to generation, and it is the people who suffer in the end. Same. Marine went wrong. Celestial dragons are even more choppy. The real source of confusion. But this has nothing to do with Lan Yu, and doesn't care. There are countless chaotic worlds, how can he feel? At present, the main thing is to win the heaven first. Putting things aside the pirate world first, Lan Yu looked across the heavens, fighting together. In the final scene, Laozi, the ancestor of Taoism, beheaded Sakamuni, the ancestor of 10,000 Buddhas. Now a full-scale war has begun, preliminary estimate. At least 1 year will be completely over, then it will be integrated and stabilized for 2 years. It will take about 3 years for the Empire to attack the pirate world with confidence. 2 women. Lan Yu looked towards it. Ohara brought back by Kaguya clone. 1, 2, 3. In an underground passage, there are 2 women, one big and one small. Kaguya said without blinking his eyes. It seems that the clones of the concubine body are not very smart, and they didn't even find them. Clone, Aphrodite, the god of love and beauty in a maid suit, froze for a moment, and subconsciously said, the IQ of the clone should be the same as the body. Athena, who also wore a maid costume, murmured, "You're done." Kaguya suddenly looked at it sharply and snorted. At this moment, the 2 little maids don't talk. Aphrodite's expression stagnated. When will she take the position? Brush. Seeing that no one has come out yet, Conan landed on Ohara Island and returned to his original position with 2 women, one large and one small, in a moment. Mother. Little Robin yelled anxiously, then looked up and saw Kaguya suddenly surprised. Beauty sister, have you solved all those marines? That's amazing. This sister, it is my idol of Robin. Robin, Olivia was nervous. My eldest daughter, take a good look around. Olivia looked up and immediately hugged Robin and lowered her head, her heart tense. The women present were prettier than the other, especially the man sitting on the high platform. When she glanced at her, she felt that her heart was about to jump out. It was a kind of horror that could not tell the truth. Yes, cute. Seeing little Robin seemed to be a lot more cheerful, Kaguya chuckled lightly, loving the smell of books on him. Should stay in the library often. Girls who love to read are not bad. And as a cute little fan. Kaguya walked over and squeezed little Robin's smiling face lightly. This is no longer your world, but don't be nervous, you will get used to it soon. No, our world? Little Robin was still confused. Olivia quickly thanked him in astonishment. Thank you for saving Ohara, thank you so much. Thank you. On the contrary, Kaguya said very seriously, They made a move until they quarreled with the concubine to read, and it has nothing to do with you. Nico Robin. Nicole Oro Vaya? Seeing this pair of mother and daughter, Lan Yu made no waves. Because of them, currently they don't have the ability or value worthy of Lan Yu's eyes. The whole Ohara. What is valuable is the Tree of Omniscience. We'll interpret the historical text, it has no effect on the Holy Empire, because Lan Yu doesn't need it. History is written by victors. Lan Yu writes whatever he wants. The strong should look at the future, not the past. He is not interested in the history of pirates. It's inappropriate for you to stay here, realizing that the two women are incompatible with this place. Kaguya looks at Robin. The concubine likes your character. If you are unwilling to be ordinary in the future, then try to prove yourself. If you are not good enough, you are not qualified to stand here, even if the two maids are fine. Athena's eyelids twitched. What is okay, they are goddesses. Little Robin nodded vigorously. She doesn't understand what the beautiful sister said, but she will keep it in her heart. Go with your concubine. Kaguya is going to Ohara to read. Bring mother and daughter who know the Tree of Omniscience. When leaving, Mom, look. Little Robin still couldn't bear his curiosity, glanced around and above the hall, and lost his voice. That big brother, is it a god? She passed the doctoral examination. At this moment, there was no words to describe the stalwart man on the upper throne. Those eyes. Deep starry sky. Unforgettable. Robin. Olivia immediately grabbed Robin, smiled nervously, and followed Kaguya with Robin. Little Robin was puzzled by his mother's behavior. 3 or 2 steps back and left the hall. What a funny little girl. Little Robin looks different every time he looks back, making Conan smile. Your Majesty, she actually said that you were a god, and seems to keep you in her heart. Lan Yu said casually. Then she must have read it wrong. Everyone in the Empire now. Advertisement can look directly at the word god. It is really disappointing for the gods of the heavens. The word god suddenly became a derogatory term in the Empire. Are you a pig? Are you a god? It's almost the same thing in the Empire? Robin is 8 years old now, 3 years from now. Lan Yu is not thinking about Robin, but about the pirate world timeline. It's not too late in 3 years, it is the great era of turmoil. At the same time, pirate world, Dedudu, I will spare you this time. Doflamingo's expression changed for a long time. In the end, there was no killer. Because he didn't know why the 3 big monster vice admiral fell into his room and passed out. If you rush to kill her, if someone finds it out, not to mention what will happen to the world government, those angry marines, such as Garp, Sengoku, etc., will definitely tear him and the entire Don Quixote family to pieces. No one can stop it, moreover, because the 3 big monsters vice admiral are here, Doflamingo has to move. Otherwise, wait for the 3 to wake up. God knows if he will shoot him. Do. It is obvious that a little hands-on can solve the 3 threats, but I dare not do it. You are really too weak, Doflamingo. The 19-year-old Doflamingo laughed at himself with a ferocious look. Such a weak self, what to do with celestial dragons, to vent the hatred in his heart. From today, self-discipline and become stronger. There are women or anything else, it will only affect the speed at which I become stronger. Doflamingo said, with a fierce gaze, he looked at his 2 or 2 meats. He wants. Cut off its flesh. With inscription, Diamante and other subordinates immediately stopped. Don't, young master, can't stop the queen. Doflamingo didn't cut the meat in the end. He believes that a good head of a family should be good at listening to the opinions of his subordinates, not because he can't do it. Yes, that's it. Dedudu, let's go. The Don Quixote family shifted their positions. Dover would never have thought that even if the Kuzan trio were killed, as long as no one in the family revealed them, they would never be discovered. He missed. The best time. After a few hours, Kuzan, Sakazuki, and Paluzolino woke up slowly, and when they saw that the surroundings were different from the ice-covered room, they suddenly stood up. Quickly perceive and explore the surroundings. After a while, the 3 of them were in a trance. Paluzolino's 5 senses huddled together because they couldn't believe it, and murmured, Are we still alive? We escaped. Sakazuki said to himself, just stay alive. Kuzan felt his creeps when he thought of the sudden collapse of the entire ice and snow space and the dense black cracks everywhere. That kind of scene as if the world collapsed, full of despair. Logia will never stop. If the body is swallowed by space cracks, it will instantly disperse into countless pieces, which will be washed by the space turbulence across time and space. The result will undoubtedly die. They were alive, they were fast and reacted quickly, and with great luck, they felt the appearance of a large space crack and turned into elements to escape. Also very lucky. The outside world is not spatial turbulence, but north blue. Any mistake will result in no bones. Them. I can think of the scene where thousands of Marines were swallowed by the space rift before they fled. Kuzan's eyes were red. Dead, except for them all died. This makes the 27-year-old Kuzan. The soul has been hit hard. Seeing Kuzan's grief and decadence, Sakazuki snorted coldly. This is not the time for you to be cowardly. Cheer me up and don't let me look down on you. Sakazuki turned around and left after speaking. Perusolino stepped forward and patted Kuzan on the shoulder and said seriously, Let's go, there is such a horrible woman, we have to go back and report. With the 2 people leaving, Kuzan radiated a firm radiance and said with emotion, Sakazuki, although I don't like your style very much, I have to admit. You have more courage than me. Senior. The 3 rushed back to the headquarters non-stop. It brought great surprise and great grief to Gang Kong. The three of them were surprised that they did not die, but the loss was too great. So far, we in the CP organization, no information about that woman was found. Ohara is nowhere to be seen, but as the marshal, he can't be immersed in grief. Kong looked at the three with a serious expression. Tell me all the information you know. Kuzan said directly. The eyes are like rubies, they can teleport at will, they can't see the consumption, and they have powerful pressure ability. Saw 5.7 Kasky said in a deep voice. She said that she can fight continuously for a year, and has the space ability, and instantly transfers to the space, trying to starve us to death. Perusalino raised her eyebrows and said, she calls herself Otsutsuki Kaguya, she looks very beautiful, I said a little girl, but she smiled happily. Wait, let us hold on, when did you Perusalino be so humorous? A little girl. Can you make the other person laugh happily? It should be that your face is too funny, Sengoku said in a condensed voice. As far as you understand, if you meet again, how many troops will it take to take her down? The three Kuzan were silent. Don't talk about other moves. Just that unreasonable space transfer. They felt that as many Marines as they went up would have to die. Because no one can escape from the Imperial Palace of Heaven. Can't escape for a lifetime. There is no different space for food, and it will starve to death for a long time. But saying this is too shocking, Sakazuki firmly said, no matter how strong she is, she must accept justice. Justice will win, turning off the topic unexpectedly. This is not like Sakazuki. Kong waved his hand. You go down and rest first, and everyone writes a detailed report to me. Yes, Marshal. Chapter 7. 3 years have passed, the Holy Empire forces descend on Sky Island. Advertisement information brought by the Kuzan trio. The Marine headquarters did not analyze anything, and currently only knows a name and some powerful strange abilities. The main problem. That Otsutsuki Kaguya. Where did the other party come from? The death of tens of thousands of Marine elites also cast a haze on Marine. 5 elders learned the news. The CP organization was dispatched to conduct a large-scale investigation around the world, and the various departments of Marine also searched for things in various places. Because Ohara disappeared. Witnessing the Battle of Buster Call, the Kuzan trio were either dead or some civilians and scholars fled. Only, the specific news is not enough to spread. So, appointed to be arranged by the world government. Destroy the true purpose of Ohara. It is to warn all careerists in other places not to vainly provoke the majesty of the world government. Newspapers related to the Battle of Buster Call, compiled by the world government, spread all over the world. Ohara, the archaeological holy site of West Blue, intends to resurrect ancient weapons. They are a group of demons that destroy the world. World government, give Buster Call to destroy. All scholars of Ohara are offering a reward of 30 million berry, regardless of life or death. The scholars' reward orders and the shocking charges were all printed in the newspapers. Once it came out, there was an uproar immediately. Some people were surprised by the cruelty of the world government, some people noticed ancient weapon, and some people looked at the reward order and showed a greedy smile. Scholars who have no power to bind chickens, this is all money. At the same time, the Battle of Buster Call has also attracted the attention of many big pirates. New World. Aboard the Moby DK. 07, Father, Daddy, look at this, Ohara was destroyed, there are ordinary people. 25-year-old Marco, just when he was young and vigorous, walked in front of a giant with a newspaper and his face was ugly. The 52-year-old Edward Newgate was in his peak state. He was awe-inspiring, except for the iconic crescent beard, and a faint blonde hair could be seen on the pirate hat. Unfortunately, for more than 10 years, Whitebeard's old hair fell out, so he could only give up his pirate hat and put on his headgear. Become a bald devil. Goo la la la, this kind of crime, the world government is still so despicable. Glancing at the newspaper, Whitebeard's eyes showed disdain, flaunting justice while being more evil than a pirate. You are still young, Amalco, the world government has done too many dirty things. Looking at the unacceptable Marco, Whitebeard taught patiently. And in a corner, an ugly, inconspicuous, 18-year-old boy had a strange light shining in his eyes. He didn't care about Ohara, but kept peeking at Whitebeard's every move, thinking about something in his heart. What a hockey man, if you really can't find that fruit, it's a good choice to spend the rest of your life here. No, I'm still young. Sooner or later, he will be old and unable to walk. In this world, life is victory. Thief ha 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 ha, human dreams will never end. The ugly black boy strengthened his ambition. Cake Island. Charlotte Linlin doesn't bother to care about Ohara, who is busy making children. Oha. Charlotte Linlin, the most talented woman known in the pirate world, wasted too much time on men. Men. Well, today is another day we were ruined. When will we be heads? Wanokuni. Kazuki Oden, that idiot, lousy, casually talked about it, he really believed it. The sturdy Kaido sneered disdainfully while drinking heavily, looking at Kazuki Oden of Luo Dance. Kaido and Da Snake took a lot of people as hostages. The two sides made an agreement. If Oden gave up his dignity, 100 people would be released once a week to perform a Luo dance under the floor of Da Snake City, and 5 years later, the ship would be built for everyone to leave Wanokuni together. Now, Oden has been dancing Luo for 3 years. It disappointed a lot of people, and also made many naive guys desperate for him. He hasn't found Kaido lying to him so far, and it will take at least 2 years before he wakes up. Lousy is a pirate. Kaido's eyes are full of sarcasm, and Odin is just a look in his eyes, devil and mentally retarded. The hopeless kind. It is too naive to agree to this agreement and will only accelerate Wanakuna's decline. Skyline. The war continues. Lan Yu didn't do it. Training of troops is very important, and the blood of the Imperial Army must be guaranteed at all times. After reading the book for a few days, Kaguya brought little Robin to Lan Yu with great interest, and his voice was full of joy. Your Majesty, do you know that little cutie is too powerful? She is already a doctor, although the concubine doesn't know what a doctor is. But there are many books in the Tree of All Knowledge, and the little cutie can recite them backwards. They're super powerful. What a familiar scene. Kaguya's excitement this time reminded Lan Yu of the first time Kaguya brought Hinata to see him. Kaguya was very happy at that time and found Hinata that little cute. Now it's here again. Are you a talent excavator? Lan Yu put down the precious dimension jade in his hand and looked at Kaguya and said, so what, you want to accept her as a student? No. Kaguya immediately shook his head and said in denial. Hinata is enough for my concubine. It is very tiring to teach students. But, as he said, Kaguya gently pulled the little Robin behind him and looked at Lan Yu mysteriously. Your Majesty, don't you think you were missing something? Lan Yu didn't speak. Advertisement now Kaguya reads too much, and his thinking is extremely jumpy, and he can't figure it out. Secretary. You need a very smart, knowledgeable, and elegant secretary. Kaguya smiled and surprised Conan beside Lan Yu. Empire, it seems that there is no such position, right? Conan is not a secretary. It is her current job to protect her body and the captain of the sacred troops. Before Lan Yu spoke, Kaguya ran his fingers and said enthusiastically, you have a maid group and a maid group. Usually there are some documents that need to be processed, and people need to help you convey various instructions. These need people to manage, and execution. One secretary is not enough. You need a lot of secretaries. Little Robin can start as secretary assistant, then become secretary, and finally become secretary general. Little Robin stayed for a while. First, seeing Lan Yu, once again regarded as a god, making her stupefied, and the second is the maid group? The maid group? These two regiments, isn't it the same thing? Nice suggestion. This proposal can at least share the worries for herself, but when Kaguya is happy, Lan Yu continued. But this little girl, even the secretary assistant, is not qualified yet. Kaguya was stunned. That's right, Robin is still too young, and he doesn't know much about the Empire. He hasn't been able to be an assistant secretary yet. But this sentence. Little Robin, who had always been calm, flushed, and said urgently, Your Majesty, I can learn. Lan Yu didn't say anything, he speaks very realistically. Little Robin will definitely be said to cry. Conan whispered. There are many talents in the Empire, and you don't have any advantages at the moment. You need to work hard. Little Robin was silent. She has learned about the basic composition of the Holy Empire these days, which is an empire currently fighting against the gods. She didn't want to miss the growth of the great empire, she gradually hoped to participate in it. Your Majesty, please give me a chance. As everyone looked sideways, little Robin knelt down, his eyes with firmness that his peers didn't have. But Lan Yu will not be touched by this. It's the concubine's fault, which disturbs your Majesty, but the concubine will make up for it. Kaguya said, holding up 3 fingers, and said seriously. Please give your concubine 3 years to train you a qualified secretary. Kaguya's seriousness aroused Lan Yu's interest. That really makes me look forward to it. Lan Yu looks forward to seeing it. Kaguya looked pitiful. After all, he has very high requirements for the secretary. 3 years later, how much Robin can grow at the age of 11 is likely to be brushed down. At that time, I hope Kaguya will not shed tears. The concubine body was underestimated, and suddenly she had motivation, and she must not lose. Perceiving the disapproval in Lan Yu's tone, Kaguya was instantly full of enthusiasm. Although he is your Majesty, he is also a teacher. As a student's concubine, the teacher will surely admire the teacher. Little cute, let's go. Kaguya was full of vitality, and after saluting Lan Yu, he left the hall with a determined little Robin. Conan smiled. Sister Kaguya is so motivated and energetic, I haven't seen it for a long time. Hope, she can bring surprises. Lan Yu had high hopes for Kaguya 127, the Air Force was well managed by her, and the little Hinata was taught very well by her. Read hundreds of thousands of Kaguya, all-rounder. Able people should do more work. Dimensional Jade opens the door to space. Always facing the pirate world, the flow of time in the two worlds is the same. Soon, 3 years passed, the heaven that was taken down also stabilized. And pirate world for the past 3 years, there is not much change. With the opening of the era of the great pirates, the whole world is getting more and more chaotic. The new world is also a fragmented kill, and the great pirates are vying for supremacy. Marine and CP organizations. After investigating Kaguya for 2 years, he has given up, and there is no trace of it. Any further investigation is a waste of resources. And on the sea, Sky Island is rarely noticed by ordinary people. 7 kilometers above Gaia Island is the White Sea. The Sky Island carried by the Bye-Bye Sea is above 10,000 meters. At this moment ushered in great horror, Mom, what is that? A little blonde girl with white wings behind her holding Xiaoyun Fox, looked up at the sky and said in doubt. That is. The mother in the girl's mouth was also blonde with wings, and her eyes were full of shock at the moment. The residents of Angel Island were shocked. The people on Burke Island were equally shocked. The sky cracked. A young man with a white turban and long earlobes, who seemed to have just been beaten to cause a bruised nose and a swollen face, looked at the sky stunned. Same. A Peyato, like the god of the night, the Sandia of Cloud Shinobi Village. All looked at the sky sluggishly. Boom. The sky split suddenly, forming a huge portal, and dense black shadows appeared from it. Keep falling on Apaya. A 13-year-old girl headed by Baikugan shimmered slightly into a blue light, and the cold voice washed away the island of God. The armed forces have not moved, holy soldiers go first. Holy Empire, sacred troops join, Chapter 8. Sasuke kills Ganfor in a second, Enel eats thunder fruit. Advertisement Holy Army. More than 6,000 people from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, and 8th Brigade swept out of the Space Gate and arrived at Apayado on Sky Island. The Imperial Navy, Land and Air Forces were not dispatched. The sacred troops became the vanguard. The huge portal filled with the sky stunned everyone on the islands of Sky Island. The Saint Army was also a little surprised. The air here is a bit thin. 13-year-old Hyuga Hinata, Azure Blue Tensigan directly looked at the entire Sky Island. Somewhat surprised. This is a small island with thriving forests. But outside the island is a sea of white clouds, some strange towns on it, and the vast sky outside. Obito exclaimed. What's the matter, isn't it a good sea? How did you land on an island in the sky? Don't be surprised, it's shameful. Deidara curled her lips and looked aside proudly. Boy, go and take a group of people to sea, come back and report to me. Okay, big, team, long, Hidan gritted his teeth, and this one is here again. It has been 5 years since the new captain took office, and the captains of the major captains have not been redeployed. Hidan has also suffered under Deidara for 5 years. This B*********** D is always tossing him. Who? This is the holy land of the kingdom of gods, no outsiders are allowed to step into it. Qinghai people leave here. At this time, there were bursts of shouts. Under the side of the empire, a group of people with white wings sitting on various birds in the distance flew over. The head was an old man wearing armor and holding a spear like a knight. The kingdom of God, wings, angel, the captains of Might Guy, Shisui, Kimimaro and others looked strange. Just 2 years after they captured the heavens, they encountered the kingdom of gods again. Are there gods here too? Be prepared for battle? The deputy commander of the Holy Army, Kakashi, raised his hand slightly. The 6 major troops lined up in an instant, looking straight at the coming group of angels, in a uniform manner. It looks very weak, but since there is a god here, none of them should be weak. Are you from Qinghai? I am the leader here, Ganfor. Ganfor, who was headed, looked at Kakashi and other thousands with solemn eyes. Too many people. Moreover, the scene where the sky burst just now made him unable to return to his senses for a long time, and his inner vigilance was extremely vigilant. Leader. Kakashi sensed the breath of Ganfor, and said uncertainly, You are the god here? Right. Ganfor spoke calmly. The kingdom of God is composed of the holy land of Angel Island in Apayado. Leaders for generations are called gods. It has been maintained for 400 years, it has now gone foul in power. You go try him. Not sure of the strength, Kakashi casually pointed to a holy soldier who happened to belong to the 3rd group. Yes, sir. Uchiha Sasuke was so excited that Namikaze Naruto was envious of him. He also wanted to behave in front of many captains. He has done a lot of mistakes in the past few years, which has resulted in him being a little saint. Also implicated teammate Erzu. God Ganfor. Sasuke flashed a dozen meters away in front of Ganfor. 3-hook jade appeared in his eyes instantly, and his tone was full of arrogance. I killed too many rubbish-professing gods. Go to hell and proclaim my name. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. The captains of the brigade looked at Hyuga Hinata strangely, as if saying, Why are the little saints in your brigade so crazy? Hinata secretly recorded the 2 pillars in a small book, just like that, let's be a little saint for a few more years. This, child, so fast. Seeing Sasuke straddling tens of meters in an instant, Ganfor was shocked. Then I saw a dark blue light bursting into Sasuke's hand. Holy destroyed 1,000-bird sharp spear, spiritualized thunder, combined with divine destruction. Sasuke raised his hand to be a big thunder spear, which instantly pierced the void. Noisy. Boom. Ganfor only felt a flower in front of his eyes. I felt the pain from my abdomen and a surge of power. Boom 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 boom. Under the shocking gaze of the soldiers of the Kingdom of Gods, their gods were directly penetrated by thunder guns, turned into streamers, smashed dozens of big trees, and were directly nailed to a huge boulder. The 2nd pillar was shocked. He has solved a god with such a strong move now? So weak. God. Everyone in the Saint Army was a little speechless. Looking at the appearance of Ganfor's skinny old man, they thought that, like Zeus in the heavens, they both pretended to be pigs and eat tigers. Unexpectedly, it is really weak. It seems that it should be a frog at the bottom of a well closed from the outside world. Gods are so weak, Kakashi can't imagine how weak the other people on this island are. Your Majesty said that this world is not weak, but this god is so weak, it proves that this island is just a novice village. Not to be afraid. Take them down. Kakashi raised his hand slightly. The Holy Empire is here to invade this world, even if it is weak, it must be included in the Empire's territory. Yes, sir. The captains sent troops one after another and set off to all parts of Sky Island. No one can stop wherever you go. The surrounding area is mainly the residents of Angel Island, and the wings are growing behind the sage soldiers to say something different, and then they find that they are all weak. Here, there are many people without wings. Advertisement. Kimimaro took the 8th team and came to a hidden place. Cloud Shinobi Village. The holy land of Apayado is part of Gaia Island that was washed up on Sky Island by rising currents 400 years ago. The people on it were all driven out of Apayado by the gods 400 years ago and became Shandia people, hiding in Cloud Shinobi Village, constantly contending with the kingdom of gods. What are you going to do? Known as the Man of War Ghosts, the young Weber exclaimed as he watched the arrival of a large group of people in white suits. Cloud Shinobi Village, the village where they live in secret, was found by outsiders. Take it. It doesn't look strong. Kimimaro has no interest in taking action. The 8th team rushed forward. I saw it. There's an island in the distance. Obito of the 4th Brigade was not dispatched, looking into the distance on the edge of Angel Island. There is also an island, Burka. Go, follow me to take down the island. Obito eagerly led the 4th Battalion, paving the way for Burka. After a while, on the island of Burka, in the corner of the edge, a young man with long ears wearing a turban stared at the flying crowd. They can fly without wings. Are they gods? Enel, who is the same age as Shanks, has passed 3 years and is now 20 years old. Enel is here. This wingless alien steals things all day, come on, and beat him to death. Don't let this be D run away. At this moment, many Burka people came to arrest Enel one after another. Because Enel did not have wings, he suffered discrimination in Burka since he was a child and was bullied all day long. Resentment surges daily. If not, at the age of 31, he would not destroy his hometown of Sky Island Burka with Thunderfruit, occupying the kingdom of God for 6 years. Damn it. You wait for me, if I gain strength, I will kill all of you. Enel roared with a ferocious expression, put down his harsh words and turned around and ran away. Being hunted down from an early age, Enel ran very fast, and rushed into a woodland in a blink of an eye. I wanted to run in the other direction, but when Obito and others flew in, Enel suddenly changed direction. Going in the direction of destiny, after half an hour. Just as the 4th team swept Burka, Enel was too tired, lying half on the ground. Damn it, can't run. Enel wiped his sweat. He had a lot of injuries and hadn't eaten a full meal for several days. It would be great if there was an apple, just one. Enel was also relieved when there was no sound behind, but his stomach kept groaning. He likes to eat apples, because since childhood, only apples are the easiest to find, and other foods are difficult to obtain, and no one wants to give him alms. Yo, suddenly, something hit Enel's head, making his head bewildered. Apple? No. What kind of fruit is this? Enel stared at the blue-patterned fruit rolling on the ground and was startled. That kind of strange pattern, it seems poisonous. But when he was hungry, he couldn't take care of that much, so he picked it up and started eating. The first bite under the whistle. Vomit. The smell disgusted Enel, but he continued to eat. No matter what the fruit is, it is better to die by poison than starve to death, at least to die faster. So comfortable. A strange power spread throughout Enel, and he felt that power strengthened his lower body. There was still a stronger force in his body. Enel couldn't help raising his hand and patted it. Sizzle. A beam of thunder that was not too big or too small came forward from his hand and directly blasted a tree to pieces, making Enel dull. Lay, electricity, me, can I release thunder and lightning? How can humans release thunder and lightning? That is the ability that God has. Thinking of this, Enel released it a few more times, and then laughed uncontrollably. Yahahahaha, it turns out that all the sufferings in the past are, to get Zhao, to the gods. Now my strength is back. Yahahahaha, I am a god, please wait for me Burka. Yahahahaha. The laughter of the madness spread far and wide. This was the first time Enel laughed unscrupulously and hysterically. But, this kind of second-year laughter. Obito's attention was drawn. This kind of laughter, idiot. Looking at Burka, who was basically finished, Obito paved the way to the forest. Look down. I saw a man with big earlobes, the middle two laughed, and kept releasing thunder and lightning. Interestingly, according to intelligence, the special ability of this world comes from Devil Fruit, and Raiden should be too. Hands turned into thunder and lightning? That is, Logia? Obito's eyes brightened as he watched Enel flash lightning. This ability is good. So Obito flashed to Enel and said directly, boy, FK with me. Seeing Obito who suddenly appeared, Enel was startled, but when he heard what he said, he was suddenly angry. He just knew that he was a god. It was offended by a mortal. Yahahaha, small mortals, see the power of God. Enel laughed, a beam of thunder bursting into his hand. Go straight to Obito. Boom. Chapter 9. Obito takes down the Thor brother and is surprised to see the 9 snakes and pirates. Advertisement boom. A bolt of lightning penetrated Obito directly. Enel was shocked. Because the thunder only smashed a tree, Obito still stood in place unharmed. Obito drove Mangekyo, jokingly. What's the matter, God is so weak. Damn it, go to hell. Thunder appeared on Enel's hand. Approaching Obito, he blasted it hard, puffed through. Passed through Obito again. The empty Enel fell to the ground accidentally, looking unbelievable. Just ate thunder fruit. Just when he was in high spirits, he suddenly realized that he couldn't even hit a single person, and Enel's brain went blank. Am I not a god? but I can use God's ability to release thunder and lightning. What a god, are you here to be funny? You laughed so hard at me, ha 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 ha. Enel's various expressions change, making Obito burst into laughter. Damn B asterisk 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 D. Enel got up, thunder and lightning broke out again, bombarding Obito again and again. But the lightning is getting weaker and weaker. After all, Enel was chased and beaten for a long time. He was already hungry, but just used thunder fruit to cushion it. Not much stamina. Why still can't hit him? Realizing that he was running out of energy, Enel looked embarrassed and sneered. Yahahaha, this time I will spare your life. Let go of ruthless words. Enel turned around and ran. He hasn't forgotten Obito's previous words. If he wants to accept him as a little brother, how can God be a little brother? First strategic shift. That's it? Is it just not long after I ate the Logia devil fruit? Obito was disappointed when he saw that Enel would only utter ruthless words and run away. He thought he was a strong one. The third team is full of talents, such as Zuoming, Bai, Gaara and others. Obito also hopes that the fourth team will have talents, and seeing Logia is somewhat pleasantly surprised. But Enel's performance disappointed Obito. It looks like I'm 20 years old. Except for good abilities, everything else is very poor. It takes a long time to cultivate, but after all, it was Logia, and Obito didn't want to give up. After all, the intelligence said that if a capable person dies, Devil Fruit 143 will appear randomly in other places. Forget it, it is better to make others cheaper than yourself. Quickly figured it out, Obito casually chased after him. Let's start with the training of the 4th Squadron. If the talent is good, it will save trouble. Are you still running? Do you want to take a break? The next moment, Obito's voice suddenly came from his ears. Enel was agitated, and when he looked up, Obito was looking at him in front. "Hole, what are you going to do?" Enel was aggrieved. "Isn't thunder and lightning the power of gods? Why can't even a mortal be hit?" "Obito. I have hollow, I just play, didn't you say that, except you as a holy soldier?" As he said, Obito raised his hand, his eyes filled with curiosity. According to Lord Kaguya, conventional physical attacks are naturally ineffective against the system, because those with Logia ability are themselves made of elements. If you want to destroy elemental energy, you need stronger energy to destroy it. Enel didn't understand it at all. He only heard that the other party wanted to accept him as a little brother. Enel, will never be a slave. Run. Enel ran away. He had just eaten thunderfruit, and he couldn't move in the air with the form and speed of thunder and lightning, but he could be slow. As if he didn't see it, Obito continued to speak for himself. For example, the ice element, powerful high-temperature energy should be able to destroy it, so it's restrained. But what about thunder, light, wind, etc.? How should you restrain it? Then the problem is coming. Having said that, Obito flashed in front of Enel again, looking forward to it. Logia capable. Can the soul be elementalized? Soul? Enel 1? How did he talk about such a weird thing? Try it, and then you'll know. In Enel's astonishment, Obito's fingertips burst with energy that made his heart palpitating. Hey! A small divine destruction, cut through the void like Kizaru's laser. It penetrated directly through Enel's abdomen. Immediately after that, Enel's painful sound was heard, and he fell to the ground and aroused. That kind of pain from the soul, it also left Enel's brain blank. He was pretty sure that the pain was more painful than the countless pains of being beaten by burkas since childhood. Brush. Kakashi flashed over, glanced at the rolling Enel, raised his eyebrows and said, "What are you doing here?" "Report, sir." Seeing the arrival of the deputy captain, Obito saluted immediately, and then said, "This big earlobe is a Logia-capable person, and it belongs to the lightning system." "Knight. That's pretty good." Kakashi was also a little surprised. He didn't expect a small sky island to have such a peculiar ability. There are not many kinds of elements in nature. Inferring from this, the whole world of Logia is extremely rare, and the lightning is absolutely at the top. So, you want him to enter the 4th team? Kakashi knows Obito's careful thoughts very well. The captains of the sacred troops compete with each other and are rushing for special abilities or geniuses. Obito chuckled. Although he is a little weaker, he is equivalent to finding a top-level blood succession boundary owner in the ninja world, and he will not grow weaker. Stop smiling with me. Kakashi looked sternly. For some reason, so many years have passed. Every time I see Obito laughing, I want to hit him. Ahem. Obito coughed lightly, and immediately changed the subject. Sir, Logia should not be able to be soul elementalized, or it may be that he, who has just gained power, cannot be soul elementalized. I prefer the former. Kakashi's forehead, he also tends to be unable to elementalize the soul. The so-called ignorance of conventional physical attacks by Logia does not exist in front of the imperial spiritual power system. Advertisement, puff, cough, what did you do to me? Enel couldn't understand why it was so painful because it was just being penetrated through a small blood hole. It doesn't hurt to be stabbed a few times, so, are you willing to join my team? Obito walked over, talking, his fingertips condensed light again. Under Enel's wide-eyed eyes, Obito's fingertips pointed at his 5th limb. 10 seconds for you to think about it, otherwise, your 5th limb will be abolished. Devil. This guy is too damn it. Enel had never seen anyone so cruel, the damn burka, and had never beaten him on the 5th limb. Enel, is a god, a male god. Can't be a god who is neither male nor female. Obito spoke again. By the way, have you eaten an unpalatable fruit these days? That's your source of strength? It's just a discharge, and I will too. Under Enel's sluggishness, Obito transformed the thunder in spirit and threw a huge thunder beast forward. Boom. AHFH, thunder beast pushed all the way horizontally. The hundreds of meters ahead turned into ruins. There are 3 more, choose. When Obito's voice sounded again, the sluggish Enel recovered. It turns out that I am not a god. 3-2, stop, I promise. Seeing the light from Obito's fingertips was about to come out, Enel went cold and screamed. This demon. He really wants to abolish his 5th limb. You actually agreed? Obito's face was full of disappointment. I originally wanted to extract your soul, whip the corpse for 3 days, and burn your soul for more than 10 days, alas. Devil. This devil. Fright flashed across Enel's face, but his eyes were soon filled with resentment, and he raised his head and said sternly. I don't care who you are, but you can't stop me from taking revenge. I want to destroy Burka. The hatred accumulated from small to large. Enel will never forget. With this hateful look, Obito doesn't know what Enel has gone through, and doesn't want to know. Obito said calmly. Since you are already mine, you must abide by the rules of the Empire. But, if you have revenge, you have good thoughts. Don't make yourself upset because of hatred, just vent it. Enel took a deep look at Obito, turned around and endured the pain in his soul, and ran towards Burka. Can't hit Obito. He didn't believe that those Burkas could not be hit. By the way, sir, where is Burka? At this time, Obito was a little confused. Kakashi pointed forward. That's the island your 4th team attacked. Obito stunned, and immediately shouted, the 4th Brigade stops, and this island is handed over to the boy with long ears. Kakashi didn't care about it either. The Empire is only good for its own people. At this time, Hyuga Hinata flashed over and saluted. Sir, the Sky Island is no problem at the moment. I want to go to the sea and check the information, and come back soon. Hey, be careful. Kakashi did not refuse. Hyuga Hinata is the strongest among the top 10 captains. Especially the incomprehensible holy text, what strong people really encountered. You can run away if you can't beat it, yes, sir. As Hyuga Hinata turned around, the azure blue Tensigen shone with joy and expectation. No matter how cold she is in the army, but Kaguya and Lan Yu are just a sweet and lovely little girl, after all, she is only 13 years old. I have a strong curiosity about New World, go, Robin. Well, Captain. Hyuga Hinata took Robin and flew to the sea. Now, South Blue, a kingdom coast close to the calm belt. A big ship was towed forward by 2 huge sea snakes, and the flag was 9 snakes forming a sun-shaped skull. People who saw this ship, some fled in panic, some were dazzled, and some were full of greed. It turned out to be the 9 snakes and pirates. A pirate ship built by the woman on the legendary Daughter Island in the calm belt. Legend has it that they can freely enter and exit the calm belt. Come without a trace and go without a trace. Because with the current ship technology, even Marine can hardly cross the calm belt safely. It is not the kind of sea stone installed in later generations. And Daughter Island is in the calm belt in the first half of the Grand Line, with the Grand Line on the left and South Blue on the right. For the Amazon Lily Kingdom of Grandmaster Haki, South Blue on the right side without wind. It is the best material location for the 9 snakes and pirates. Whether in exchange for resources or robbery, few people in the South Blue Kingdom can compete against them. After docking, women disembarked one by one to make all the men look dazzled, but no one dared to approach them. The outside world is wonderful. Among them, 3 little loli are full of curiosity about everything, and their eyes are full of innocence. This is their first time out of the island. My sister, it's so prosperous here. Yes, let's go around. Hearing the words of the 2 younger sisters, the 12-year-old black-haired loli was a little moved, but still acted like a sister. I'll listen to me later, don't run around, you know. Yeah, let's listen to my sister. The 3 loli glanced at each other. While the members of the 9 snake pirates were shopping, they secretly ran to an amusement park. Fortunately, there was nothing wrong along the way. After purchasing, the 3 loli also happily followed everyone on the boat. The 9 snakes and pirates left slowly. What they don't know is Gia. Several human traffickers followed with a greedy sneer. There is also a loli with azure blue eyes and a loli with blue hair and black hair in the sky. 2 loli are sitting on a cloud with blinking blue eyes. When I saw the 3 sisters, he whispered. That black-haired girl is so cute. Chapter 10. Little Hancock. Wow, Sister Hinata is really amazing. Advertisement. After leaving South Blue Kingdom, the 9 snakes and pirates group slowly drove towards the calm belt. Along the way, the women on the boat were laid back and uncomfortable. After all, there are too few strong people in South Blue. For the elites of Daughter's Island, there is basically no danger to drive all the way into the calm belt and go home. There is no boat. Shadow on the right string, Loli, the inspector, stood on the side of the ship and shouted. There is no boat. Shadow on the left string, the little green-haired loli yelled from the other side. There is no boat. Shadow ahead. The 12-year-old black-haired little loli, wearing a white cloak, sits on the head of the sea snake and shouts while holding a look glass. The vision is good and there is no abnormality. 3 little loli. After going around the playground happily in the South Blue Kingdom, I recommended myself and started a patrol mission. Until now, all 3 loli are happy, fell into the other sea. There was a female crew member who looked at the black-haired loli sitting on the sea snake's head and yelled worriedly. After all, The two sea snakes are responsible for pulling the boat. If something happened, the sea snake shook his head slightly. Loli will fall off the black hair. Don't treat me as a fool. The black-haired Loli turned her head, her eyes widened, and put on a super fierce expression of mine, holding Xiaoshuo's fist and waving it. I'm a fighter on my own. See here. The female crew could not help laughing. Yep. What a brave little soldier. The task of patrolling is entrusted to you. The female crew members chuckled and carried the cargo into the cabin. Huh, I'm super strong. The black-haired Loli lowered his fist, full of tsunere. 2 strands of black hair fell on both shoulders, both wrapped in long gold loops, black stockings on the legs, small leather boots, and pink short skirts. Little age. Sweet and cute. Looking at the black-haired Loli who was still bravely sitting on the head of the sea snake, the 2 younger sisters immediately cheered. As expected, your sister, let's help too. 2 Loli also quickly climbed onto the sea snake's head. The 3 sisters looked out at the sea together. Green hair Loli said with emotion. The outside world is so wonderful, I don't know when I will come out next time. Orange hair Loli nodded. Yes, it took a long time for us to come out this time. Hear the words of the 2 sisters. The black-haired Loli raised his head like a haughty little peacock, stretched out a finger, and said crisply, as long as we go back to practice hard and become stronger, we will set sail on our own. The 2 sisters nodded heavily. My sister is always so confident. Green-haired Loli was puzzled again. My sister, what does this finger mean? Of course it means something. The black-haired Loli said affirmatively. The 2 younger sisters fell in love for a while, and then showed admiring eyes. My sister is so amazing. Whatever she means, it is right to say this at this time. Just when the 3 sisters were thinking about the future. Under the boat of the 9 snakes and pirates, several dark shadows quickly approached, and with the help of strange tools, they climbed up from the side of the boat. Gia finally caught up. It's so rare that I can meet the 9 snakes pirates, the woman from Daughter Island. This is a rare treasure. Be quiet, don't be heard by the 3 little girls. What are you afraid of? It's just a little girl, just jump into the sea and walk away. Yes, especially the black-haired girl, she is so cute, she will surely be able to sell it for a good price. Several dark shadows emerging from the sea. It was just a few human traffickers in the South Blue Kingdom who had been eyeing the Hydra pirates. Other adult women. They didn't dare to provoke them. The women of 9 Snake Island are very strong. But 3 Loli is the goal, especially the black hair Loli. 2 words. Perfect. If you go to Sabo the Archipelago for auction, maybe it can get Celestial Dragon's attention, then they make a lot of money. Swipe it. The 4 human traffickers are agile, flutteringly, and after turning on the boat, they prepare to pounce on the sea snake's head. They want to do their best. Grab the 3 Loli and head straight to the sea. If there are no accidents, it will definitely succeed. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. So, you are human traffickers? Who? Hearing the sound, the 3 Loli looked back. Suddenly startled. I saw the chopping board. I don't know when 4 men with wicked eyebrows and squirrel eyes appeared, and they were preparing to take off, but at the moment they froze in place. The black hair Loli was taken aback, and then showed a super fierce expression, clenched his fists and shouted. Come on, the 4 men are on the boat, they're so ugly. The 2 sisters have a black thread. Sister, we thought you were going to go. Quickly, catch them and run. The 4 men were startled for a moment, and suddenly rushed towards the sea snake's head. The black-haired Loli immediately stood up, protected the 2 younger sisters behind him, and set up a fighting posture. Just wait for them to come up and give the strongest counterattack. 6 wheel flower of sails. At this time, there was a soft drink from above. Under the consternation of the 3 Loli, Kachacha. The 4 human traffickers, each with 6 arms that grew out of their bodies, grabbed their necks, arms, and feet, bent their bodies back, and broke their frontal bones. Okay, amazing. The black hair Loli subconsciously said, then his pretty face blushed, and he refused to admit defeat. When I grow up, I must be better than you. Hey, not right. Who is making the shot? Ask you something, come up. There was another voice in the sky, and Loli, the black hair, was surprised to find that her body was flying. Soon it flew to the sky. Advertisement submerged in the clouds. The 2 sisters were stunned. Where's the man? At this moment, a group of women burst into the cabin, and they saw the 4 dead men and the 2 stunned Loli. Sonia, Mary, what happened here? Where's Hancock? A woman in the lead asked quickly. The previous patrol did not find any abnormalities, and it was impossible for them to keep driving. But it didn't take a while to enter the cabin. It turned out to be all messed up. Boya Sandersonia exclaimed, my sister flew away. Boya Marigold's tears fell. Clouds, my sister was caught to the clouds. The girls couldn't help but be shocked. Who caught it? And on the clouds. There's a lovely cloud about a few meters in size, blinking blue eyes and open mouth. This is made by Lan Yu for Hinata. On it sit Hyuga Hinata and Robin. Huh, it's okay if it's not a man. Little Hancock was relieved when he saw that they were 2 girls about the same age. It's amazing to fly in the sky. Looking around, Hancock was not afraid at all, but said something that surprised the 2 women. You guys, can you fly me again? It's exciting, I really like it. Hinata. Robin. Hello, your heart is so big. The 13-year-old Hyuga Hinata did not speak. Instead, he drove 10 seconds to look at the sea ahead, where a luxurious ship was slowly driving away. The above is flag of the world government. The 11-year-old Robin chuckled slightly. Introduce myself, I am the Assistant Secretary of His Majesty the Holy Empire, Nico Robin. This is the captain of the 3rd Battalion of the Holy Empire Saint Soldiers, Hyuga Hinata. Holy Empire? Assistant Secretary? Holy Soldiers? Hancock was stunned, and said, I am a warrior of the Amazon Lily Kingdom, Boa Hancock, 12 years old this year. As he said, Hancock said triumphantly, you don't seem to be taller than me, so please call your sister. 0.078, although he has never experienced suffering. Full of innocence and Tsunere, but since he was a child, he has a character that refuses to admit defeat. Being able to be caught in the clouds may be incomparable in strength, but Hancock quickly found an advantage. My Hancock is taller than you guys. You sure? Hyuga Hinata looked over. Hancock took a step back subconsciously, inexplicably panicked, as if the little cat had run into a big tiger. Yes, those clear blue eyes, bringing huge pressure to her. Hinata said calmly, I happen to be 13 years old this year, telling my sister not to kill you. Kill me? Little Hancock stood up straight for a moment, and put on a fighting posture. I want to call your sister, the warrior of Amazon Lily. Don't be timid, come on. You sure? Robin also smiled and asked. In the past 3 years in the Empire, she studied with Kaguya and often met Hyuga Hinata to ask Kaguya for advice. The two also often discussed each other. That kind of battle is still unforgettable for Robin. Hyuga Hinata, repeatedly challenged Admiral of the Imperial Navy, Land and Air Forces. Because of the powerful pupil technique and the incomprehensible holy text. Become the strongest of the new generation of Empire. Apart from the Commander Conan, he is the strongest person in the Sacred Army. Glancing down, Robin chuckled and said, Here, there's gold in the sky. They didn't follow the 9 snakes and pirates. It's just that world government ship, which happens to be a route. If the pirate of the 9 snakes don't avoid it, it will inevitably be a bitter battle. Hinata's goal is heavenly gold. The member countries of the world government will tribute part of the treasure to celestial dragons every year. More than 170 member countries will deliver the treasure to the government marine's escort ship to send the heavenly gold to the holy land of Marijoa. Commonly known as protection fee. Yes, Hyuga Hinata is here to pick things up. After all, her teacher is Kaguya, so she must match her teacher. Hey, you still fight? What? Seeing Hinata ignoring him and looking down, Hancock was about to say something, then his eyes widened. Spiritual flames burned up Hinata's body. Directly enter the Tensigan spiritual power mode. 9 blue spiritual power balls spun at high speed and fell into the hand, blasting a tornado hurricane from it. 10%, Yinlan reincarnated and exploded, under Hancock's shocked gaze. Boom. As soon as the hurricane appeared, it formed a thunderous storm that directly shattered the clouds. Like a natural disaster, swept towards the bottom. Little Hancock was quite surprised and exclaimed. Wow, Sister Hinata is amazing. What about your Tsunere just now? You'd rather die than call your sister's gesture just now. It turns out you were like this, Hancock. Immediately, Hancock was a little puzzled. What does Hinata mean by 10%? Robin whispered, that's because I was afraid of ruining the above things, and deliberately reduced the power, only 10% or even less. Little Hancock was in a daze for a moment. Sister Hinata is really amazing. In a blink of an eye, the young Hancock showed admiration to Hinata. The women of Daughter Island are the most admiring women. Currently, the premise is not to be ugly. Hancock ignored it like the ant. Sister Hinata is sweet and powerful, I'm Hancock's idol. No, it's a sea storm, quickly, get ready for defense. What's the defense? Hurry up and leave here at once. On the golden ship in the sky, saw a hurricane like a natural disaster. Some people in black suits and some marine costumes subconsciously regarded it as a sea storm. On the sea. Catastrophe. Chapter 11, Black-Bellied Robin, I, Hyuga Hinata, declare war on the world government. Advertisement, boom boom boom, tornado hurricane falling from the sky. Like a dragon sucking water, it constantly shattered the sea, attacking the golden ships in the sky extremely violently. Before arriving, the golden ship in the sky almost overturned like duckweed. Damn it, keep your boat stable and leave it to me. The one who spoke was a man with a ferocious expression and wearing a marine vice admiral costume, a ghost spider. Next moment, the ghost spider is washed away with a rhythm of life. Dark brown hair floats one by one. The heartbeat sounded like a bell drum, the muscles of the whole body seemed to come to life, and the whole body exuded a very special aura. Life is back. All hair seems to be conscious. The strands were twisted together to form 6 spider legs-like things on the back, and 6 long knives were drawn out of Marine's code at an extremely fast speed. 8 sword flow, hurricane cut. The ghost spider broke out, slicing out 8 flying slashes. A dense net was formed in midair and a storm was swirling at a high speed, and the waves were fierce. Tempest kick, lion fury, tempest kick, storm. Tempest kick, the stars, the CP members on the golden ship in the sky also broke out attacks one after another. Tempest Kick's extension skills make a dazzling advance, or a mad lion charge, or dense rain, or stars falling. The chopping wave kicked out was transformed into various forms. Boom boom boom. At the time when the hurricane that passed the 160 hit the earth, various attacks collided with it, blasting cracks in the sea. Not good. Suddenly, the ghost spider and others looked shocked. What they attacked was only the hurricane that swept down, and this hurricane was too high and seemed to be a continuous attack. Destroyed the lower part. But the first half was completed again, and the violent attack continued, and the remaining prestige was bumped into the golden ship in the sky. Boom. The entire luxury vessel. Just like tofu, it breaks directly. Moonwalk. The ghost spider smashed a hurricane and stepped to the sky. At the same time, several CP elites came up. The rest are waiting. All are buried in the sea, or turned into fragments, or constantly struggling in the sea. Damn it, it's all ruined. The faces of several CP members were extremely ugly. The important task of transporting heavenly gold has unexpectedly happened. Wouldn't celestial dragons tear them to pieces with anger? This storm is very abnormal. While talking, the ghost spider landed on the floating ship debris. It doesn't seem to have formed naturally. On the contrary, it seems to be man-made manipulation. Otherwise, after the hurricane is broken in the second half, it should be shifted or dissipated. Hey, Sister Hinata, look, there are still a few people who are still alive. Your sister Hinata didn't use her best. There is a lively mouth, just to my liking. At this time, 3 clear voices came from above, as if they were all little girls. But it made the ghost spiders careless. When they looked up, they saw a white cloud with blinking eyes floating down, just in the middle of the sky tens of meters away. Sit or stand right on it. 3 super sweet and lovely loli. What kind of ghost combination is this? With indignation in his heart, the ghost spider coldly shouted, "You made the hurricane just now, a good method, but you were so bold." The ghost spider made an extremely cruel expression. But he was so solemn in his heart that he would not underestimate his opponent because of his age. Instead he became more and more jealous. Shish, this man is so ugly. Little Hancock couldn't help showing an expression of disgust. Robin smiled. Vice Admiral clothing, which can transport heavenly gold, must be the elite of marine. Your weight is enough. Hinata didn't speak. The azure blue eyes radiated light, causing the ghost spider to frown. The little girl who didn't speak gave him an extremely dangerous feeling. The ghost spider burst out and shouted, "Who are you guys? Do you know what you did? That's a capital crime." Capital offense? Hyuga Hinata raised his eyes slightly. Looked at a few angry CP members, is that right? Quack quack. The next moment, with the ghost spider's pupils shrinking, several CP members were directly affected by the unknown and flew up. The ghost spider condensed. This is gravity? Congratulations, you got it. Hyuga Hinata's tone was flat and raised his hand slightly. Tensigan, gravitational strangulation. Perfectly manipulate the gravitational chain and wrap it around the body of the CP member. At the next moment, if the same number of fierce beasts are draped in chains and pulled suddenly. Tear. Like 5 horses divided into corpses. Several CP members did not even scream, their entire bodies were torn to pieces, and blood mist swayed across the sea. What a cruel little girl. The ghost spider felt cold inside. He couldn't imagine what kind of person cultivated this kind of little girl who waved and killed her opponent but didn't change her face. Is she only 12 or 3 years old? Wow, Sister Hinata is amazing. Little Hancock exclaimed in admiration again. Robin also looked at Hancock in amazement. Big heart or see too much, 8 sword flow, gale cut. At this moment, the ghost spider suddenly attacked. He jumped up, swung 8 knives, and cut out a dense slash. There is no woman in his mind. Draw a sword, the god of nature. What cute and sweet loli. The hawk represents the ghost spider and ignore it, go to death. It seems that you haven't recognized the reality. Seeing the slashing attack that resembled a violent wind, Hinata didn't see any waves in his eyes, and his pupil power moved forward again. Advertisement Tensigan reverse gravity Shenra heavenly sign. Boom. The majestic repulsion directly smashed the slash. Yu Wei boldly slammed into the ghost spider, and accompanied by the sound of bone cracking, the whole person turned into a stream of light and fell to the sea. Boom 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 boom. Just like floating in the water, the ghost spider splashed sea flowers on the sea surface, dozens of times in a blink of an eye. Robin chuckled, heavenly gold has a lot of good things, and it can't be wasted. Hinata moved toward gravity again. The dense gravitational force turned into a net, penetrated into the sea, salvaged all the fragments of the golden ship in the sky, and floated up. Huh. At the same time, the ghost spider that flew out was also drawn by gravity and floated in front of the 3 women. Puff cough cough. The ghost spider spit out a mouthful of blood, his eyes were bloodshot, and he raised his head to look at Hinata in anger and horror. He felt that his bones were broken a lot, and his internal organs were hit hard. What frightened him even more was the repulsive force just now. Puff, cough, what's the relationship between you and Otsutsuki Kaguya? Repulsion attack. It directly revealed the dusty memories of ghost spiders. Otsutsuki Kaguya. Combine a variety of powerful abilities in one. In the end, they were identified as incompetents by Marine and world government, and they should be special racial abilities that had been hidden for a long time. After all, 2 or 3 abilities can be rounded up. But there are too many abilities, and they are basically irrelevant. It is impossible to be a capable person at all. This girl is too. Otsutsuki Kaguya. Little Hancock blinked in confusion, and then grabbed a floating gorgeous box. It was not broken. It seems that there are treasures inside. Seeing Hancock's look of expectant treasure hunting, but unable to open the box, Robin broke the lock 0. Wow, it turned out to be devil fruit. Looking at the 3 devil fruits lying inside, Hancock felt extremely surprised, his eyes turned into crescent moons with a smile. Although she has never seen the real thing, but there are many records on Daughter's Island. Robin rolled his eyes and smiled with a dark belly. Do you know that many devil fruit records are fake, but they are actually very delicious and the most delicious in the world? Do you want to be as strong as your sister Hinata? Then pick up one and eat it. As he said, Robin's tone was faint and his expression was serious. From now on, you, Boa Hancock, will be the new queen of the Amazon Lily Kingdom. The age of coercive pirates, little Hancock's eyes opened wide. She seemed to see the future, an invincible female emperor who was invincible, pushing all enemies horizontally. Even the legendary Whitebeard. They are all shouting, "Long live the Empress Hancock." That kind of bright future scene made little Hancock's happy and pretty face flushed, and he snorted. Right. The concubine is the Empress. The Empress is a concubine. Crack. Little Hancock immediately picked up a pleasing devil fruit and whistled. Did you really eat it? Robin was in a daze for a moment. Is Hancock so cheating? Next moment, little Hancock's expression was dull. The ruddy pretty face turned pale in an instant, water mist appeared in his determined eyes, and he cried with tears. Robin, you cheated me, it's too unpalatable, it's even worse than Shang. Robin smiled darkly, and asked, how can you say that, have you eaten it? Hancock was startled, then put on a super fierce expression and rushed over. Ah, I'm fighting with you, slightly, you are still far behind. Hyuga Hinata's eyelids twitched. Little Hancock is too naive, he was even tricked into eating devil fruit in a few words. Put this outside. It is also possible that someone was sold in a few words and happily helped count the money. Devil fruit is nothing more than a problem, take a long lesson. The ghost spider ignored the two loli who were fighting, still staring at Hinata. Otsutsuki Kaguya. Under the shock of the ghost spider's heart in 5.7, Hyuga Hinata smiled and spoke respectfully. She is my beloved teacher. Boom, this sentence. Like the roar of thousands of thunder, it exploded in the ghost spider's heart again and again. Found it, finally found a clue to Otsutsuki Kaguya. The horror woman who killed tens of thousands of marines in seconds, the woman who transferred the three big monster vice admiral to another space, even if the other space collapsed unexpectedly, she was still affected by the terrible space shock after escaping and the three big monster vice admirals stunned. But the ghost spider couldn't laugh. The teacher is a monster. The disciple is also a monster. What are you going to do? The ghost spider has no hope that he can live, but he wants to die before he dies. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Hinata's first sentence shocked the ghost spider, and then Hinata continued. If you die, who will send the news? I, the third captain of the Holy Empire's Holy Army, Hyuga Hinata. Declare war here, world government. I'm at Sabaody, waiting for you. Get out. When the ghost spider hasn't recovered. A strong gravitational force pulled him to the nearest island. It crashed down. Chapter 12, White Zetsu taunts Marine. Everyone here is rubbish. Advertisement after throwing away the ghost spider. Hyuga Hinata looked at the two loli who were fighting, and when he saw Hancock, his eyes flashed with surprise. Hancock. Seems cuter. No, it doesn't seem to be, it's a very special charm exuding all over the body. At the moment it is just unconsciously distributed. If you can enhance and control that charm, even if you are still young, how many men can hold it? Certainly, His Majesty the Great Holy Emperor. Definitely resistant to live. Hyuga Hinata thought so. Huh? Petrochemical? During the fight, Hancock accidentally touched his hand, and Robin was surprised to watch his hand start to petrify. Spiritual power burst. The energy of spiritual power directly expelled the abnormal energy that was not powerful yet. Robin stepped back a few steps and raised his hand. Your ability is a bit dangerous, let's get acquainted with it first. With that, Robin was also a little surprised, this naive loli. How do you feel more beautiful? Growing up, it's worth it. Fraud. Little Hancock stared angrily. How could she be so naive that she believed the girl's nonsense? Eat devil fruit. Really, it's terrible. Ignoring Hancock's stare, Robin smiled. You should be thankful to me. If I guess right, your fruit is related to charm, which is something women can't ask for. Charm? Hancock stunned, then raised his head and said, my charm is already great, it's a matter of course. Robin has a black line. This loli is really too sunere. I really want to understand a little bit what it is. Hancock raised his hand slightly and made a bow posture. In his hand, the pink eldest son was formed, and the arrow was a heart-shaped substance. Whoosh whoosh. More than a dozen heart-shaped arrows shot on the floating ship debris. Boom. Under Hinata and Robin's side. 07 The shot fragments were directly petrified and turned into detritus by impact. Hancock's eyes were bright, and he said with joy, I can release special energy to petrify people who are obsessed with me. Not only that. Another way to use it is to petrify the target no matter whether it moves or not. No matter whether the object is living or non-living. Just after being shot by an arrow, all those things were petrified. I like this ability. Soon, Hancock continued to experiment with joy and cheers. Hinata simply commented, nice ability, it's really good. Robin nodded, but still reminded, don't be so naive in the future, just like just now, I just said a few casually, you believe that you really ate devil fruit, if it is some pig fruit or something. Promise you will cry to death. The happy Hancock didn't care about this, and hummed back. What's wrong with the pig fruit? Pig is so cute, I eat it even more cute. Robin's eyelids twitched. I was really defeated by your innocence. Immediately, Robin straightened his expression. Boa Hancock, there are a few things you must agree to, or you will be sent to the sea. Hancock was puzzled. We are from the Holy Empire, you will understand later. First, you need to work hard to become stronger, and become a daughter stronger than everyone on the island. Second, you have to become a new generation of Empress, uniting the entire Amazon Lily Kingdom. Third, lead the kingdom and join the Empire, do you understand? Hancock was even more confused, and it took him a long time to speak. What if you don't agree? Then destroy it. The answer is Hinata. Hancock was shocked suddenly, but she could see how strong Hinata was. That was only part of the strength. Robin said seriously, the goal of the Empire is all kingdoms, the whole world. No one can stop it. Target empires all over the world. How powerful should it be? Hancock was in a daze for a long time, looking at the two women with complex expressions. Why did you choose me? Hinata calmly said, it looks pleasing to the eye. Robin answered, anyway, you are lucky. When you meet the two of us, work hard. You don't have much time. Finally, the kingdom is the kingdom. Stop calling yourself a pirate. The Empire doesn't like the word thief. With that said, Robin took out a luminous spirit orb from nailing ring and handed it to Hancock. If you want to become stronger, eat it. Goodbye, Boa Hancock. Hey, Hōgyoku just took over the Lingzu. I felt like I was flying. Then he got further and further away from Hinata and Robin, and suddenly shouted firmly. I, Boa Hancock, will not lose to you. Seeing Hancock disappear, Robin smiled. Tsunere girl who really refuses to admit defeat, she's a bit naive. Robin was naive. It means that 12-year-old Hancock doesn't understand the darkness of the outside world. Full of curiosity and yearning for everything outside. Without her and Hinata, the three sisters will be abducted by traffickers. From then on began a dark life. Wrong. The spirit in that spirit orb is too rich. If the willpower is not strong enough, it will die. Suddenly thinking of something, Robin said immediately. Hinata was calm. If she is dead, it can only mean that she is nothing more than that. Robin did not refute. This is true. If Hancock is not from Daughter Island, then they won't give her spirit beads. Your Majesty has said that special islands such as Daughter Island and the Fishman Island are most suitable for management by the people on the island. Such as the ancient city of Lulin in the Empire. So far, Sarah is in charge. The Hinata two girls didn't bother to go to Daughter's Island to choose, so they chose Hancock. Immediately, Robin looked at Hinata. Are we going to Sabaody now? Well, see how many people will be attracted. Hyuga Hinata is not afraid at all. There must be an accident. She can also take Robin away easily. Robin asked, shall I inform Chief Kakashi? Naturally want to inform. This is a matter of principle. Let's go. Hyuga Hinata sent a letter to Kakashi and flew to Sabaody with Robin. The 9 snakes and pirates. All the female crew members went crazy looking for Hancock, and then a dark shadow fell from the sky. Advertisement, oops, there was a slight voice, which surprised all the crew members. Hancock is back. Sister, are you okay? Quickly, take Hancock to check it out. As soon as Hancock looked up, he was surrounded by a group of women. The Lingzu in his hand accidentally fell into his mouth. Guru, Hancock hated it after swallowing it. After devil fruit, I unexpectedly ate another thing. Nico Robin, I remember you. Hancock's painful cry sounded from the entire ship. When the girls were worried, Hancock's resolute voice came again. Is this feeling something that gets stronger? If so, what kind of pain is this? I can't bear it, hum. Hancock persisted with sweat on his forehead. In the end, there was only a moment of muffled hum. This is. The female crew members were astonished. There is a sense of momentum in Hancock getting stronger and stronger. Afterwards, it broke out, as the same strong wind swept the entire ship, swept to the sea, across the audience in a flash. Hancock's momentum is like a king, full of panic and domineering. In an instant, Sonia and Mary freeze. The other female crew members also freeze. Their bodies and all expressions are all frozen. Puff, puff. The 2 closest sisters to Hancock, Byakugan, fell to the ground. Puff, puff. With Hancock as the center, the surrounding women fell down one after another like dead bodies. Bah. Conquerors. There are a few female crew members who haven't fallen yet. Daughter Island. There have been no conquerors women for countless years. If it appears, must be the Empress. Boom. Suddenly, Hancock's conquerors became stronger, mixed with a burst of spiritual power, and carried black and red lightning. Click. Click. One after another cracks appeared on the deck, and several women who had not fallen before collapsed suddenly. The spiritual power system, is this my new power? Hancock opened her eyes and flashed a surprise. Her body was raised a little bit, and then she looked at the girls in confusion. Why are they all asleep? At the same time, a ray of strange power crossed layers of obstacles, came to the sky above Sky Island, and passed through the space portal. Close double-angle bracket. Came to the Holy Empire. Back to Lan Yu, Boya, Hancock? Unexpectedly, Robin gave her the first Lingzu. Lan Yu opened his eyes, and a faint light flowed inadvertently between the opening and closing of his eyes. The moment Hancock swallowed the spirit orb and held it there. Lan Yu knew everything about Hancock. Yes, everything. Robin acts as assistant secretary and acts with the army. She brought a lot of spiritual beads on her body to select a new generation of talents for the Empire in the world of pirates. If the will is not strong, there is no doubt that he will die. Those who can make it through are naturally worth cultivating. 167. The Empress, 12 years old, the most innocent age. Lucky little girl. Badly wounded ghost spider. It was quickly discovered by Marine on the island because the information brought was very important. The headquarters directly sent Kizaru to pick it up as quickly as possible. Inside the marshal's office, the marshal is still Kong Kong. In the Op fruit trading event a few years later, Sengoku is still admiral. 4 years later, when Tiger attacked Marijoy, Kizaru was vice admiral. So, if there are no surprises, Sengoku wants to be a marshal. It will take a few years. Sengoku. My husband, I am 60 years old now, or admiral, Marine is too difficult to mix. What are you talking about? Heavenly gold was robbed. It is Otsutsuki Kaguya's disciple who attacked you. Holy Empire Sane soldiers? Dared to declare war on the world government? There was a burst of angry roar from Kong Kong in the office. What a Hyuga Hinata, it's lawless. The generals looked at each other. Are all women so terrible now? Otsutsuki Kaguya will not say anything about it. Her disciples don't even look at world government. Why are they? An empire that emerged from nowhere. Also at this time, there was a ridiculous voice. Ahem, is this the marshal's office? It's too small and too shabby, Lalasari. Forget it, Marine is a group of poor guys. Who is it? The generals looked sharply. I saw a pale figure appearing by the window, yawning, and waving at everyone. Hello everyone, I'm White Zetsu, Minister of Intelligence of the Holy Empire. Excuse me, you are very strong. The people who are preparing to do it. Hearing the 4 words of Holy Empire, his expression suddenly condensed. At this moment, White Zetsu grinned and said, no one answered? Then I will answer, in my opinion. Everyone here is rubbish. Damn it, Akainu shot angrily. Outrageously a dark hound blasted past. Boom. Chapter 13. Kong Kong almost died of anger. Rayleigh was stunned on the spot. Advertisement boom. The lava arms directly smashed the windows and walls of the office. But there was a scene that shocked the generals of Marine. Look. That scumbag. That was Pale. The guy with his face full of sarcasm was still sitting there, unaffected in any way. Akainu's expression sank. His attack actually failed? Oh, did you hide it? Your speed is really terrible. Kizaru narrowed his eyes slightly, showing an exaggerated expression, but he shot faster than anyone else. Laser. Raising your hand is a bright golden light. Under the gaze of Aokiji and other generals, the golden light directly penetrated White Zetsu and blasted into the sky. No one was wrong this time. It wasn't that White Zetsu avoided hiding, but ignored the attack and let the attack pass through him. Garp took a closer look and couldn't help but stuffed a piece of senbei in his mouth. He laughed and said, it's a really interesting ability. When you are attacked, I close my eyes. I don't know there is someone in front of me, ha ha ha. The generals frowned. Yes, there is a problem. They found one of the biggest problems. The moment White Zetsu was attacked, the sight and sight completely disappeared, and then appeared again. But this is not right. The other party obviously didn't evade. Vice Admiral's eyes flickered, and he calmly said, at the moment of being attacked, your breath is gone in the sight, and you haven't moved in the eyes. In other words, when you were attacked, your body moved to another place, leaving only a phantom, right? FK. White Zetsu patted his palm lightly, and said with a smile, it's a good speech, you are all good, and the analysis is so accurate. Then the problem is coming. White Zetsu showed a puzzled expression. What is seeing and hearing color? The generals were shocked. Immediately they showed angry eyes, and they felt that the other party was playing around with everyone. Your uncles? Puff ha ha ha, this kid is really interesting. Garp sprayed out all the senbei and raised his hand. Boy, don't mix with the Holy Empire, come to Marine. White Zetsu asked curiously. Is the salary high? I'm a very expensive person. Do you have vacations? Talking about wages. Kizaru's expression was frustrated, and he sighed. Don't mention it, Marine doesn't have a lot of funding, so life is terrible. Holiday? When you are Marine, you still want a holiday? Dream? The generals looked strange. Kong Kong's face turned black into charcoal. Is it so miserable? White Zetsu couldn't help shaking his head. It's only a few $100s a month, what is your life for you? Kizaru quite agrees. Yes, you see I am hungry and thin, and my body is full of bones. Really? White Zetsu was a little surprised, jumped down and walked in front of Kizaru, and really reached out and touched it. If it is really that miserable, come to the Holy Empire. The salary is super good, various holidays and year-end bonuses. Kizaru was shocked. I just said casually, this kid really came over? Kizaru loved, but Aokiji didn't love, so he violently shot. Freezing time. Before the hands arrived, the tyrannical Mori white cold air covered White Zetsu's body, and an ice sculpture was directly frozen in place. Seeing this, Kizaru sighed slightly. It's hard to meet a confidant, and I was killed by you. My heart hurts. Everyone was speechless. Stop acting, you are a great dramatist. Can be the next moment. No, you don't really think that this little trick can attack me, do you? Under the gaze of everyone, White Zetsu appeared in the same place again, saying differently. What kind of expression are you guys? Isn't it a matter of course that you can't hit me? Everyone sank. Sure enough, he ignored the attack in an instant, and there was no way to take him. White Zetsu, you yourself, imitates Obito. He currently possesses all the powers and techniques of Obito, including Mangekyo's binocular pupil technique. Hollow is in hand. The world is walking sideways. Obito. White Zetsu, your uncle, enough. Unable to bear the sarcasm between White Zetsu's words, Kong let out a burst of air. Look, I can't stand it after just a few words, I'll say a few more words, not to piss you off. White Zetsu said, looking at Sengoku, look at you at 60 years old, you are still an admiral, or I will lead someone to kill him, how are you? Boom. Kong's fist directly blasted out a terrifying shockwave, instantly submerging White Zetsu's body. Unabated prestige. The shockwave rushed out of the office. It blasted directly into the sky, blasting out a huge hole in the clouds. Its terrifying strength made Rear Admiral startled. The Marshal did not lose the same year. Ha ha ha, ha ha, as expected, the old man is not good anymore, let's abdicate, let Sengoku get on, it's time for another batch of Admiral. White Zetsu was still sitting there, laughing unscrupulously. Kong almost squirted out old blood. Shameless. B*ch, can't die. Oh, you are so terrible. Seeing Kong almost vomiting blood, Kizaru cast an admiring look at White Zetsu without a trace. Just this shameless temper, if not for a different position. Kizaru would like to be friends with you. Marshal, calm down, you don't need to fight him. Sengoku played around, then looked sharply at White Zetsu, and said solemnly, don't think that eating a special devil fruit is your capital. The energy of the world government for 800 years is beyond your imagination. White Zetsu was puzzled. I didn't understand what you mean, are you advertising? Damn it. Sengoku's face turned dark, and he found that he and White Zetsu couldn't communicate normally at all. Advertisement Akainu said coldly, say what you came from, or get out of here. A good meeting. White Zetsu was purely a shit-chucking stick. You dare to talk to me like this, I remember you. White Zetsu memorized the appearance of Akainu and wrote it directly on a small notebook. When Shen Akainu goes out, he must call tens of thousands of holy soldiers to sap him. Didn't you tell me? I'm from the intelligence department, of course I'm here to investigate intelligence. But, White Zetsu shrugged, sneakingly doesn't fit my identity, so I came here with dignity. I will let you know by the way. The center of gravity of the Holy Empire is not in this world, but it is also bound to win in this world. Don't talk about the 800 years of garbage world government, just the celestial dragons, and then mix up with the 810,000 years, you have to become a dead pig. Put it pretty well. No Rear Admiral led White Zetsu to like. The last sentence is really wonderful, but no one showed it and looked at White Zetsu hostilely. I really feel sad and heartache for you, Marine, alas. White Zetsu sighed and pointed to Kong Sky's path. Kaguya-sama's disciple is about to usher in the first battle in this world. It's up to you as an idiot. When you die, let Sengoku take over. Don't delay him. See you next time, there will be surprises. Goodbye, everyone. Looking at a space, Uzumaki swallowed White Zetsu, turned and disappeared. The generals couldn't help frowning. It turned out to be a spatial ability? But at this moment, none of the generals spoke, and the atmosphere felt extremely strange. Marshal, Sengoku looked extremely embarrassed. Why is the guy named White Zetsu always picking up the gaps? If it is spread out, there may be some gossips. Okay, just treat him as farting. Waved his hand for Sengoku to stop. Kong looked aside with a black face. Ghost Spider, that Hyuga Hinata said before leaving, are you sure you want to go to Saboti? The Ghost Spider nodded. Yes, the Marshal, she said to wait for us in Saboti. Good, very good. Kong's killing intent was violent, and his tone was full of anger. No matter what the Holy Empire, they provoke the world government again and again, trampling on the dignity of Marine, and they must not be let go. If that Hyuga Hinata appears, the old man will do it himself. What? The generals were surprised. 5 elders will not allow our Marine to make mistakes one after another. Kong spoke very positively. If you want to make a move, you have to kill. The old man makes a move to warn other careerists. The generals nodded. Marshal Sora did not have a problem with his shot. But he sighed in his heart. The old marshal was finally aroused by the White Zetsu's anger. Garp is really curious. What White Zetsu said is not in this world, what do you mean? One sentence. Wake everyone up again. Qingshang frowned slightly. That Otsutsuki Kaguya once transferred us to the ice and snow in an instant. It's a completely enclosed space, and it's different from any island on the sea. Without food, I can't go out. There's wind and snow everywhere. After a long time, I can only wait to die there. Having said that, Aokiji guessed. Since there is such a different space, will there be other resource-rich different spaces, and the Holy Empire is in a certain different space? The world in his mouth is a vast and different space? The general's eyes lit up. That should be it. As for other worlds, other planets and the like, they didn't even think about it. They didn't have this concept at all. Kong said in a deep voice. Everything will wait until I get Hyuga Hinata. The order continues, let Marine and Saboti always pay attention to alert and report any abnormalities immediately. Yes, Marshal. The generals responded. Sengoku was in a low mood. Crane was thinking about a question. What is the surprise that White Zetsu said? Why did Hyuga Hinata go to Saboti? There must be some purpose. Crane thought of a possibility. But that kind of may be too scary, absolutely shocking the world. De Wang Zhao set off the era. But it's useless for Crane to say it. Some people can't listen to Marine. Moreover, Crane didn't really want to say. On the contrary, some strange expectations were faint. At the same time, Sabodi Archipelago. Sabodi Archipelago is formed by the island composed of the world's largest mangrove, Alkamangrove. The whole island is composed of 79 trees and is also 79 islands. Each is divided into different areas, 1 to 79, and at the moment, the area where the number 56 shipbuilding coating is located. Hey, no more drinks. Coating can't make much money, and Shaki doesn't give it. The old man can only go to cheat and kidnap. One with glasses, a straight scar on his right eye, and long curly hair could vaguely see some sturdy golden old men. Looking at the hip flask with a pity on his face. Just when the old man got up, a cold voice came. Are you also a human, dealer? Rayleigh was a little confused. When am I an adult, a trafficker? When Rayleigh looked up, he saw a white cloud with blinking eyes falling down, with 2 little lolies sitting on it. 2 lolies stared at him sharply, it made Rayleigh feel frizzy. Seeing Bai Yun blinking, Rayleigh blurted out. This kind of cloud, are you Charlotte Linlin's daughter? Team, Chapter 14. Information sold by Shaki, Celestial Dragons arrive at Sabodi. Advertisement, what are you talking about? Nico Robin stared at Rayleigh. Charlotte Linlin, the aunt who made the child in New World Tenten. Hyuga Hinata did not speak, just glanced at Rayleigh, and wanted to give him a golden wheel reincarnation explosion. It's rude to speak. Ahem, the old man is wrong. Rayleigh coughed and smiled, then glanced at the blinking white cloud again, and said in surprise, this kind of cloud is really strange. Hyuga Hinata said directly, you are good at strength. In Hinata's perception, Rayleigh's Ryotsu is special. It should be the owner of Conquerors. According to His Majesty, Conquerors is innate, but it cannot be strengthened by exercise. It can only be strengthened by the user's own growth. And with Rayleigh's mental strength, obviously his own strength is very strong. This is the reason why Hinata and Robin fall by Rayleigh's side. The whole island belongs to this old man Ryotsu, the most special. My old man is good? Rayleigh felt extremely weird at the moment. This sentence was uttered from a 12 or 3-year-old girl and gave him a sharp comment. It always feels weird, but after all, it was a little girl, and Rayleigh didn't care. Instead, he smiled. It seems that you have misunderstood something. The old man is neither a big man nor a human trafficker, but a coder. Hidden identity. It doesn't matter. Robin went straight to the subject. A strong like you hides here. There must be a channel of its own. We want to know about celestial dragons. Has it come today? Rayleigh's smile suddenly stopped. He sensed his surroundings, and said in a puzzled way. What are you looking for celestial dragons for? Say, Hinata spoke calmly. Rayleigh's expression froze. Then I arranged my clothes, gathered up the tools, and left 167 leisurely with the hip flask, muttering as he walked, I didn't hear anything, come find me goodbye. He lived well in Sabodi, coded a film and drank a drink, occasionally sold himself out, robbed the rich and helped the poor. Happy little days, don't want to mess up, enough. Suddenly, a long and narrow spirit blade stood in front of him. Rayleigh turned his head in disbelief. How dare this little girl shoot him? If you don't say anything, don't want to leave today, Hinata said seriously. Actually Hinata wants to fight Rayleigh. Always understand the strength of the strong in this world. Rayleigh regretted it again. The little girl now was so domineering. It was difficult for Rayleigh to adapt for a while, but he didn't want to make a move, and he said in a deep voice. If that's the case, let's just say it straight, old man Silver Rayleigh. Pluton, Rayleigh, get out of trouble, little girl. Otherwise, you won't be able to hold the big fist of the old man's casserole. Hinata frowned slightly. So what? Robin answered with a black belly. What about then? Rayleigh, now. The air began to fall silent. Rayleigh only felt extremely embarrassed, and it took him a long time to cover up with a big laugh. Ha 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 ha, it's been a long time since I met such an interesting person, it's still 2 little girls. If you want to know, come with the old man, brush. In an instant, Rayleigh disappeared in place like a phantom, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Robin commented, it's fast, but I can't run away. Hinata let go of Ryotsu's perception. Soon I found out where Ryotsu and Rayleigh was, and ran for thousands of meters before stopping. Area 13. A pub called Shaki's Rip-Off Bar. Bring me a glass of rum. After hearing this voice, AHFH, the female servant with black short hair glanced lazily. What time is this? Come to drink again? Don't mention it. Rayleigh sat down directly, picked up a glass of wine and drank it, and then chuckled softly. I just met 2 little girls and they wanted to kill me if they didn't agree. It really scared me to death. Shaki turned by Kugan. It's disappointing that you didn't die. This cup of 300,000 berry, thank you. Rayleigh looked back. At this moment, a gleam of surprise flashed in Shaki's eyes, and a taste of play. You didn't even escape the 2 little girls. Rayleigh said when he looked back. I saw Hinata and Robin appear at the entrance of the tavern. The pirates in the tavern were also silent. It's great that there is such a cute little girl running around in this place. A few pirates smiled greedily. Such a cute girl, if it is sold, it must be worth a lot of money. There were also pirates who laughed wildly. What do you sell? Take them away and take them back. The voice did not fall. Die. When Hinata raised his hand, it was a shot of multiple divine destruction. Dozens of lasers fired in and out from between the fingers and instantly submerged in the pirates. Boom boom boom. Accompanied by a roar. All the pirates were pierced through their foreheads and fell suddenly, leaving behind a mess. The entire tavern. There was no sound. Rayleigh couldn't help his heartbeat. Shaki showed a surprised look for the first time. This ability is a bit like Vice Admiral Kizaru? Without waiting for Hinata to speak, Rayleigh immediately said, Shaki sells intelligence, they want to know about celestial dragons. That's really surprising. Shaki didn't have any scruples. She was more curious about celestial dragons, and she also had a lot of this kind of information. Shaki simply said, which one? The price is a bit high. Advertisement, Ka. Putting a box on the table, Hinata glanced at Rayleigh and asked, I didn't find celestial dragons in Saboti. I want to know when I will come here. Such a gorgeous box? Shaki felt it for a while and calmly said, You're lucky. Just received the news that a celestial dragons team returned from North Blue the day before yesterday and should stay here. No accident, the afternoon arrived. Rayleigh stared blankly. One said directly, the other asked directly, do you need other communication in the middle? Hinata's jaw. I see, Robin thought, what if it doesn't come? After all, it is celestial dragons. It is not easy to have this kind of information. The accident is not in the scope of my intelligence. Shaki explained briefly. Hinata said calmly, we don't have so much time to wait for the waste. If it doesn't come, we will go to the holy place to catch it. Well, that's the only way to go. Robin also has no good way. Puff. Rayleigh spewed out a sip of wine, and Shaki was also taken aback. These two little girls. Is there any misunderstanding of Marijoy? But Shaki didn't remind anything, just sell information, and can't participate. Strangeness. Too weird. The behavior of the two women Hinata made Rayleigh feel strange everywhere, but it couldn't be said. Go. Hinata and Robin leave. With Celestial Dragon's news, playing against Rayleigh is not important. At this time, Shaki opened the box casually and frowned. This is part of the heavenly gold? What? Rayleigh leaned over to take a look. There are a lot of treasures, but there is a world government document in the box, indicating that this is a tribute from a certain country. This made Rayleigh puzzled. Could it be that they also robbed the sky of gold and made it clear that they were against the world government? Where did they have the confidence? Shaki lit a flue. They all have special badges on their clothes, obviously from the same organization, but I haven't seen it. The times are getting chaotic. Rayleigh shrugged. Forget it, it doesn't matter to us. Maybe there will be a big show in a while. Shaki was speechless. More and more heartless. Time passed bit by bit. In the sky, Hinata sat cross-legged and practiced. Robin was leaning on the clouds, looking down, and whispered, very powerful intelligence capabilities, they really came. Hinata opened his eyes. Notify Senior White Zetsu to receive the information system of that tavern. Well, good suggestion. A simple conversation between two lowly. Shaki in the tavern panicked inexplicably. What's wrong? Seeing Shaki frown, Rayleigh was puzzled. Shaki shook his head and said, I just had a bad feeling, maybe I think too much. Rayleigh didn't think much about it. Instead, his perception spread to the tourist area of Area 42 in Saboti. I don't know what they will do. Now, Area 42. The road was depressed and silent. See from a distance. The pedestrians on the street all stopped, one by one bowed their heads and knelt on the ground, not daring to breathe. At the end of the street, a person wearing a bubblehead was riding on a slave's back, and the slave was kneeling on the ground and crawling hard. Nobles of the world, celestial dragons, the descendants of the 20 kings who established the world government 800 years ago regarded themselves as descendants of the Creator, and were arrogant and domineering based on this. All laws have no meaning to them. Because their existence itself overrides the law and possesses the most overbearing privileges in this world, any offense is a capital crime. It's all untouchables. Saint Adrian spoke disdainfully on the slave. Celestial dragons report serious discrimination to anyone outside of the same race, and they don't treat anyone as a human being. His Royal Highness Adrian is right. Several entourages responded with respect, full of respect. What? At this moment, Saint Adrian casually glanced at the two lowly walking in the distance from the street, and his eyes lit up. The two untouchables are quite courageous, but they look pretty good, so I brought them back for 2 years to train and make my new house. Yes, Your Highness. The entourage by the side immediately responded respectfully, saying, I will go and take care of the formalities for you to welcome the 36th and 37th ladies to the Holy Land Marijoy. The words fall. Several entourage rushed to the two lowly who came in the distance indifferently. Guru. Everyone was terrified, especially some women were full of horror and buried their heads. Even if there is something I can't see, still can't have the courage to speak, let alone resist and stop anything. Who dares to stop? Destroy your whole family, damn it. Among the celestial dragon's slaves, there was a man with gray-green hair and scars. His eyes were full of hatred. Celestial dragon's act of robbing women suddenly reminded him of his beloved woman. But that woman was killed by celestial dragons 1 year ago, and he became a slave too. Strength. I need strength. No, a guy without money will only accomplish nothing, only being dominated. If I had money back then, that wouldn't happen. Titicaca. At this moment, several celestial dragons' entourage who rushed past were shocked by everyone. Their bodies burst on the spot, and blood mist swayed to the ground. In an instant, the audience is dead. Chapter 15. Simulating Sparkling Fruit, the world's live broadcast raging era. Advertisement. Really, they actually did it. All the kneeling people looked at the two lowly in front of them in horror. Kill celestial dragons' entourage directly? Offending celestial dragons is a capital crime. If you attack celestial dragons, Admiral or CPO of Naval Headquarters will lead the army to suppress it. Sabaody Archipelago is very close to Naval Headquarters in Marijoy. No one will offend celestial dragons here. It was an act of seeking death, but at the moment, everyone was dumbfounded, and they were full of panic, and they wanted to immediately escape from this place where the riots were about to happen. The celestial dragon's slave with gray-green hair was also sluggish for a moment, and then full of bitterness. It's useless to resist, it will only usher in a more cruel blow. However, in the depression of this dead silence, Saint Adrian, who was riding on the slave, smiled. Hey ha ha ha, I dare to resist, and finally it's not so boring. You too, I'm going to make a decision on these two girls. For celestial dragons, a few deaths are just enough, nothing counts. Yes, your highness. Some of the remaining entourage nodded respectfully, and rushed over here one after another. Boom. Under the shock of everyone, those entourage who rushed past all suffered a terrifying repulsion attack and were broken into blood mist halfway. And swept in with repulsive force. Not good, Ashiki. The expressions of the two guards around Saint Adrian changed drastically, and they stood in front of them without thinking. Titicaca. The two guards blocked the aftermath of the repulsive force, but they were still hit hard and flew out. Directly smashed the tall slave below Adrian Saint's body, and he also smashed to the ground. Wow. The blood mist brought by the aftermath fell on Saint Adrian, who fell to the ground, making him sluggish. This is celestial dragons. Hinata continued to walk slowly, and her voice came indifferently. It's just a bunch of craps, rubbish. Hinata's voice echoed. All those who kneeled on the ground were even more frightened. Miscellaneous, choppy? Saint Adrian hadn't recovered for a long time, and it was the first time he heard someone dare to speak to him like this. Damn untouchables. In an instant, Saint Adrian's ugly faces twisted together, and he was extremely angry. I want you. Hey, the words have not fallen yet. Saint Adrian felt an irresistible gravitational force and directly drove him to fly over. Saint Adrian fell directly in front of Hinata, once again annoyed him. You. Puff. The cold light flashed. A sharp long knife slashed directly through Saint Adrian's left hand, and flew out with a bloodbath. Ah! The painful voice of Saint Adrian sounded throughout the street, rolling all over the floor. See this scene. All people's brains are blank. Someone cut off Celestial Dragon's hand? The remaining subordinate officials were completely sluggish. It's over, everything is over. From the moment Celestial Dragons were cut off, no matter what the credit was, they had to be executed. Hiss. Rayleigh, who was watching from a distance, was also shocked. Offending or even hitting Celestial Dragons, and cutting off Celestial Dragons' hands are completely different concepts. Will cause the anger of this Celestial Dragons family. Will be immortal? Ah, I want you to die, I want you to die. Adrian roared in San hysterical, 100 flowers, dazzling Waju. When all the remaining entourage rushed in, countless arms emerged out of thin air. Kill all the followers. At this time, Robin said slowly. Is this the Celestial Dragons? It will bleed as well, and it seems to be no different from ordinary people. Just don't know, will Celestial Dragons die? What? Everyone's eyes widened, what is she going to do? Try it, and then you'll know. During Hinata's words, the spirit blade swung down. At this moment, a bright golden light lost from a distance and pointed directly at Hinata. Thousands of red flowers, sea of flowers, countless huge arms emerged from the ground again, as beautiful as countless flowers in a flower field, forming a shield. Block the golden light. Boom, puff, while the arm shield exploded. There was a very slight slashing sound that shocked everyone. A head with bubbles, accompanied by blood arrows. Rolling on the ground, Celestial Dragons, dead. Everyone lost their voices completely, and they felt the terrible depression that the sky was about to collapse. But the same, there was a dawn in everyone's hearts. Have a look. Celestial Dragons are also human, they will die. Celestial Dragons, nothing great, the era, is going to run away. Rayleigh's look in the distance was extremely complicated. Wounding and cutting off Celestial Dragons' hands will only arouse the anger of the family in which they belong, and other families may also taunt them. Kill Celestial Dragons. That is trampling on the dignity of the Celestial Dragons family, which will reduce the prestige of Celestial Dragons to the freezing point, which is unbearable for all Celestial Dragons. In order to prevent the news from spreading, the world government is very likely to wipe out all the people in Sabaody, erasing it from the world and history. Only in this way, in order to continue to maintain the authority of Celestial Dragons. You guys are terrible. Advertisement. The light gathered into Kizaru's figure, and his face was extremely ugly this time, full of solemnity. In order to search Hinata as quickly as possible, Kizaru arrived at Marine Station number 62 in the morning and was on guard. Because Celestial Dragons landed on the island, Kizaru, who didn't want to meet Celestial Dragons, returned to the office to stay. But it stayed for a short while. Such a terrible thing happened. Blue Brew. After getting through the phone worm and forming Kong Kong's appearance, Kizaru directly said, Marshal, Hyuga Hinata killed Celestial Dragons. Send Admiral to Sabaody to deal with it. What? Kong on the phone bug was furious. Generals such as Garp and Sengoku in the office were also shocked. Kill Celestial Dragons? This is something that has never happened before. Even the past events in the Valley of Gods were only intended to attack Celestial Dragons, but failed. Akainu, Garp, stay to prevent others from invading. Sengoku, Aokiji, follow me, you must take them down. Kong Kong must go. Once celestial dragons died, the marshal and admiral could no longer sit in the office leisurely. Run, celestial dragons are dead, run away. The kneeling people fled Sabodi in a panic, and the slaves also found a chance to escape. Yes, I want to run. Tezzolo was in a trance for a moment. I took a deep look at Hinata and Robin, and remembered the special badges on their clothes. Turn around and run. Kizaru ignored these people. There is no rush to do it, he is currently just a vice admiral. It's taken, it should be. If you can't take it, that's a big mistake. It doesn't make sense for you to stay here. You will block Sabodi's land with all your strength and take down all the reporters' phone worms. Kizaru waved his hand to retreat as he watched the marines surrounding him. At this moment, Kizaru was taken aback. In a shadow not far away, a pale figure walked out, and said hello to the two Hinata girls. Not bad, well done. Hello Minister. Hinata and Robin saluted immediately. You are busy with yours, don't worry about me, White Zetsu said, playing with a huge videophone worm in his hand. 0. Look for flowers. The people's livelihood technology in this world is too backward, and there are no computers and mobile phones. It is very troublesome to be a live broadcast. White Zetsu looked at the phone worm with a disgusting look, and then he believed. Fortunately, I am smart and learned how to use it. I have scattered newspaper offices to build a signal. Let's have a live broadcast all over the world, live streaming? Kizaru's brows were locked together. He is no stranger to this term, and the videophone worm can record video or live broadcast. But today's matter can't be spread, Kizaru said. Mr. White Zetsu, can I trouble you to put down the phone bug? Ah, you are here too. White Zetsu said strangely as if he had just seen Kizaru, and then grinned. Sorry, no. Then I can only say sorry to you. Before the words fell, Kizaru appeared in the sky above White Zetsu. Although I know that you have the spatial ability to not hit you, if you do nothing, you will definitely be punished. No, you will definitely hit me this time. White Zetsu raised his head and moved at the same time as Kizaru. Kick at the speed of light. Kick at the speed of light. Boom. A terrifying explosion sounded, and the rising airwave overturned everything around it, and the earth suddenly shattered. What's the situation? Rayleigh, who was hiding in the distance, couldn't help being stunned. He was absolutely right. The white guy and the monster vice admiral, photonized their legs at the same time, collided together. Do not, Kizaru retreated in shock, hesitatingly said, sparkling fruit? Congratulations on the right answer. White Zetsu walked out of the dust with a chuckle, feeling himself admired. I have to say that your ability is really good, I like it. Laser. A golden light came from between the fingers. Kizaru ducked sideways, his face was extremely ugly and lingering dazed. Isn't he a spatial ability person? Isn't there only one devil fruit? Copy, fruit. Kizaru spoke subconsciously, and then denied himself. No, that's Gaminio's ability, and he can only replicate his ability, which has many flaws. It is impossible to copy my power. The kick just now. Kizaru's most amazing thing is not sparkling fruit, but White Zetsu's power that is not inferior to him, as if facing himself. What is the ability? Guess it, I'm about to start. Declare to the world, the coming of the Holy Empire. With the chant of White Zetsu, the signal spread to the world. The screen of the huge square in Sabodi is on. White Zetsu's clone has made contact with newspapers around the world, and built a signal to spread the world. The world's major islands. As long as the signal can be connected, the big screens will light up. Major forces. Whether it is the kingdom, the mafia, the family, the pirates, the marine base, or the videophone worm of the revolutionary army that is developing and cultivating. This signal was received one after another. After thinking about it, I chose the link. If it is a spam signal, the big deal is to disconnect it. Kizaru couldn't help but have a headache. Now, the world has gone completely violent. I can't really blame me. No, I have to behave well. As his expression changed, Kizaru charged up again. Do not. Halfway through, Kizaru's body stagnated. Because the space in front is distorted. From the space Uzumaki walked out a man with short black hair wearing a white suit. I am Uchiha Obito, the fourth captain of the Holy Empire's sacred troops. Ahead, no traffic. Kizaru regretted it. Space Uzumaki. Isn't it White Zetsu's ability? It's messed up. It's all messed up.